Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
This police unit is trying to box him in, but instead he just crashes into the tree, and away he goes. But let me widen out. I don't know how far this will take him. Yeah, he's basically cornered. Wow, look at this. Off the road and onto the freeway. Oh my gosh, so he is on the freeway, going wrong side of the road here on the 91 freeway, going eastbound in the westbound lanes. This car is smoking. I pray to God that the vehicles that are coming in his direction see this car coming at them and they're able to stop before we see a collision.
Oh yeah, those good old days, remember? Good old days with car chases. Welcome back. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I'm the Recovery Addict. Good afternoon. Welcome everyone, especially Mathis. Mathis, congratulations. First in chat this afternoon. We're going to send it to you to internet ownership. And on top of everything else you have going, your booming AI music business, everything else, work, family interests, on top of everything else, you've got to take care of the internet for the rest of us and do it from Germany. You're going to do great, Mathis. It's going to be wonderful. So thank you very much. Congratulations, my friend. Alrighty. Let's let this music die out here. And wow, I popped in. I like to pop in on other courts, even ones we're not following. We've chosen not to follow. Man, there's some crazy stuff going on in the courts today. Oh, wow. Yeah, just crazy. Thurston County District Courts, motions in limine. All right, we're getting I think this is where we're going here. We have arguably one of the best named attorneys ever to bring up. I have 3 screens. God, he says, I can watch them all. It's going to be great. Yay for Thurston. Yes, we're coming back to Thurston here right now. Oops, there we are. Skip
Mr. Hauser, what case are you here
Skip
for?
Hauser.
You're muted.
Thank you, Your Honor, and good morning. That would be on the matter of Monica Hodges. Mr. Pelon, my partner, unfortunately, is in another county and not able to appear. Ms. Hodges is on the Zoom call as well, Your Honor.
The Zoom call is terrible audio.
I can probably address that.
Go ahead. Well, let me hear from Mr. McClellan.
Well, our cases were on for confirmation last Monday on the Lacey morning calendar, and that was the first day of the outage. And so all the trials were continued with notice to be sent. Ms. Hodges was present that day. Mr. Pelon wasn't yet, but I sent him an email afterwards letting him know that the case was continued. So that might have got lost, but I think they're just pending new trial dates.
Did you hear all that, Mr. Hauser and Ms. Hodges, who's on the Zoom call there?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll confirm with my client, but I believe she is nodding affirmatively. That was my understanding, so that we did not have this calendar. We understood that it was going to be continued, that there would be new dates set. And so
that is all true. Yep. So you folks are free to go. And then Ms. Hodges, just maintain contact with your attorney. This will get reset. You'll get notice of new court dates, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Hodges, would you go ahead and call our office when you get off Zoom? And thank you, counsel, and thank you, Your Honor. Appreciate your patience.
Yeah, sure.
We always have time for Thurston.
Okay, so
Skip Hauser, the great grandfather of Dookie.
I guess, do we want to take up the
Doogie Hauser?
The Lacey,
right?
well,
not Dookie.
The Lacey cases first.
Mr. Kime first, and then Mr. Sharp's on Zoom for that case.
Mr. Sharp, Mr. Kime.
Yes, Your Honor. I wonder if he's present.
I don't know. What's your name, sir?
Your Honor, I just spoke with Mr. Kime.
Okay.
He just found out. I've been trying to get in touch with him the last 2 weeks. He should have known, obviously. We confirmed this 3 weeks ago. He's been scrambling around this morning. He's indicated he is in Olympia and is able to show up. I told him to hold off for now because I was planning to ask for a continuance. Given that I lost contact with him for the last 2 weeks, there are some things that I wanted to discuss with him.
So, Mr. Sharp, was this a case you were going to ask for a continuance for also? If,
Likely,
I remember you yesterday telling me you weren't feeling well.
Right, that's correct, Your Honor. So no objection to the continuance. Wonder if the court could set another hearing in about a month or so.
Okay.
They're just pushing everything down the road because their computers are broken.
Well, it'll just be referred back to calendaring to be set. And so hopefully when we're back online, then we can send notice. It'll be sent about for a month or 5 weeks or so.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Sure.
And just to make sure, there will be a confirmation hearing set.
Will be a confirmation.
I think we get to some motions in limine here. That's our goal anyway.
And if that matter is settled, Your Honor, I'll go ahead and log off. Thank you and have a good day.
What is your name? Is this your client in the other case?
No, Your Honor, he's not present.
Okay. What's your name, sir?
Raymond Martin.
And what time are you scheduled?
I was believed to be scheduled at 9 o'clock.
Raymond Martin?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it looks like your case has been reset. Mr. Irinella, your attorney? Mr. Martin?
I haven't had contact with my attorney because I haven't had my phone on in about 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, your case was been reset. It's stricken from the calendar today.
I haven't had my phone on for 2 weeks. I just showed up for court.
Probably reset last week.
It's probably reset because it couldn't get a hold of
So what you
it.
need to do, your attorney is Roberto Irinella, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd give him a call.
Okay.
And so you're free to go here for today, but just maintain contact with him. And then you need to figure out when your next court date is.
I believe I was told that they waiver the speedy trial.
Yes.
My next one is on the 4th, and then the next one after that, I believe.
On December 4th?
Yeah.
Great. We'll see you back here then.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But do make contact with your attorney. You said you hadn't talked with him in a couple of weeks. Definitely give him a call.
The top of the head man bun happening.
All right. You may go. Sure.
It's like a unicorn.
So what do we know about
rare in the wild?
Your other client, Mr. Swenson, is that?
Yeah, Mr. Alcorn, Your Honor, texted me at 8 a.m. this morning, saying he was flooded in. That's all the text said. I spoke with him last night. I've been in regular contact with him throughout this case. I texted him back and then tried to call him. No response. Very confused, quite honestly, and surprised by his lack of communication with me since texting me at 8. So I don't have any further information. I would hope to avoid a warrant at this time, given my pretty consistent contact with him, but I understand he's not present. It sounds like there may be a reason he's not present, but he hasn't expounded on that reason to me.
Mr. McClellan.
I think it is a difficult situation. I'm surprised too. I think we've been approaching today, fully anticipating a trial and him showing up, and that text alone without further explanation kind of just.
When was the last time you tried to call him?
15 minutes ago.
Okay. Yeah. We have some other cases to deal with. We'll deal with those.
Call him again.
Then we'll come back and figure out what's happening.
Get his butt to court. Don't pull a frog.
Okay. So remind me your name. Come on up to that table. Attorney Duncan, can you come on the Zoom call, please? So there's a Malachi Schaefer here, but I don't see him on the calendar, who says he's one of your clients.
Yes, Your Honor. We pled on, I believe, last week in that case. Mr. Schaefer, Mr. Schaefer, I know you were trying to get a hold of me yesterday. I apologize. I was in court all day. But I can certainly, if you give me a call after this, I can explain everything.
We can explain it to him now, and that is, did you resolve this case to a plea of guilty?
It was
or an SOC?
We were there all day. I was scheduled for 9:30, and they never even talked to me, or the judge never did.
Okay, so you never did do a plea?
I never did.
Okay.
You know what, Your Honor? I looked at Laserfish, and the plea was in the folder and signed, was in his court folder and signed. So I assumed that we had entered it. And I did not have a note on that day. So, but it is signed.
Hang on just a minute. Who signed it? I mean, did a judge sign it?
I believe that was,
no, a judge. I'm asking if a judge signed it.
Yes, Your Honor. If you look at the.
Well, I don't have it in front of me, so I can't look at it.
That's okay. Let me see, Mr. Schaefer.
What's that? Do you find it? If it was last week, it wasn't me.
I believe it was Judge Wilcox that we were in front of. Let's see.
You don't see there's no plea form in the file. So what do you want to do? Do you want to deal with this?
Yes, Your Honor, we have an SOC worked out in this case. All
right, you can go ahead and take back a seat then. Come back in a few minutes. All right, let's take care of Paris Collins then. And then Paris Collins, can you come on the Zoom call?
Attorney Duncan, I sent you a message about the plea form for Mr. Collins. I was wondering, it looked like there might be some terms off of it. I just want to make sure we were still on the same page.
Yes, I'm sorry. That was inadvertently left off. We can cover it during the plea. He's been advised.
As long as we're still in agreement.
Is he charged with DUI but pleading guilty to reckless driving?
Correct.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And then Ms. Pearson, is that the case you're here for also?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You can come on the Zoom call if you wish and activate your camera. You don't have to if you don't want to, but we're going to go ahead and take this case up now. But you are Paris Collins?
No, I'm Paris Collins.
Yes, I know. That's who I'm talking to.
Okay, yeah.
That's funny.
And so currently you're charged with DUI, but I'm looking at a statement of defendant on plea of guilty, which tells me you're pleading guilty to an amended charge of reckless driving. Is that your understanding of what's happening?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And do you understand when you plead guilty, you give up all the rights contained in paragraph 5 of your plea form?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
The maximum you can receive for this is 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. State's going to recommend 364 days in jail, all suspended. Don't have any criminal law violations. Don't drive without license or insurance. Attend a DUI victim panel and get a drug and alcohol evaluation and comply with whatever's recommended. Have those things taken place yet, Attorney Duncan?
No, Your
Honor. You're also not to have any controlled substances without a valid prescription, stay out of bars and taverns, and don't refuse a breath test if one is requested of you. Do you understand those conditions?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
You understand I'm not required to follow those conditions? Follow that recommendation? Anybody make any threats or promises other than what's contained in the plea recommendation to get you to plead guilty?
No, sir, Your Honor.
Do you understand as a result of your plea, your license to drive could be suspended for a period of time?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Also, as a result of your plea, you're not pleading guilty to DUI, you're pleading guilty to something different, reckless driving. But since it was originally charged that way, this would still be considered a prior DUI if you ever get charged with that again. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
which is significant because a second DUI within a certain time period carries with it some fairly substantial mandatory jail time. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Paragraph 11 of your plea form says, on July 12th, 2024 in Thurston County, Washington, you're driving your vehicle with disregard for the safety of others and by swerving out of your lane on a roundabout. Is all that true?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And then did you go through this whole plea form with Attorney Duncan there? They read it to you, or did you read it yourself?
Yes, she read it to me. I
Got it.
understand.
Do you have any questions at all about what's happening here this morning?
No, sir, Your Honor.
I'll accept your plea to reckless driving, enter a finding of guilty to that charge, enter a finding the plea was made knowingly and voluntarily. We'll proceed with sentencing. I'll hear from the state first. Mr. Lindgren.
Your Honor, this agreement was well negotiated between the parties, so at this time the state asks the court to follow the recommendation contained in the plea.
Attorney Duncan.
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask the court to join the state in asking the court to follow the plea agreement. This was well negotiated between the parties. This is Mr. Collins' first DUI, and although his BAC was quite high, there were no accidents and no speeding or anything else involved. So I do believe, Mr. Collins, this is a fair and appropriate resolution to this case.
Mr. Collins, anything you'd like to say before I impose sentence?
No, sir, Your Honor.
So these conditions, the drug and alcohol evaluation, the victim's impact panel, do you know how to go about getting those things lined up?
Not yet, sir, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, you need to figure that out. You know, you can do treatment providers. You can speak with your attorney there. Was Attorney Duncan, your attorney throughout this case?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Yeah, you can still give them a call and see what they can tell you about. There are a number of agencies around. You can get this taken care of, but I'm going to require that you get those things done by March 1st. You understand that, of 2025? So that should give you plenty of time to follow up on this. There's all kinds of treatment agencies you can talk to around here in Thurston County. And yeah, then that'll be it here for today. So to complete the record, the complete sentence is 364 days in jail, all of that suspended for a period of 2 years. There'll be a $60 monitoring fee, $43 in court costs. Don't have any criminal law violations. Don't drive without license or insurance. Don't consume any alcohol or have any controlled substances out of valid prescription. Don't refuse a breath test and stay out of all bars and taverns.
Okay, we're going to make a
and
little
again,
jump
get the drug and alcohol evaluation and the victim's impact panel. You can file that with the court within, say, not 90 days, but just get it in by March 1st, which is a little bit more than.
Richards is present in the courtroom. He's here for his first pretrial
Also
today.
Thurston.
He is number 1 on the 9:30 a.m. calendar.
All right, Mr. B. Richards. Yeah, have a seat. Okay, and how are you going to proceed today, Ms. Simmons?
Your Honor, I don't believe dates have been set. We would just ask for those dates, Mr.
Hey, Laura,
Richards
this is
and
a
I have
hard
set an
no on
appointment
that
to
one.
meet.
All right, we will get
Not going to watch that
dates for you, Mr. B. Richards. And are you getting your notices from the court okay?
I haven't got anything actually.
No notices? You haven't got texts or anything?
No.
Okay, well, let's get your contact information then.
Yeah, let's all get that. I'm just kidding.
Start with your mailing address.
It is 123 Sesame Street. Oh, he's from NASA. He's from NASA.
Yeah.
It's Aaron B.
That's your email, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's his email. What's your mailing address?
I got a text one, but I do have a cell phone.
Okay, let's have that too.
867-5309.
Okay. And then do you get physical mail or?
Yeah, I do.
What's your address for that?
123 Sesame Street, Anytown, USA. And that's zip code 12345.
Yeah.
Do you know the zip code?
12345. Oh, 98512.
Right. Okay.
There we go.
That area. All right. So we'll get those dates set and we'll send them to you by mail and by text, and just stay in touch with Ms. Simmons. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
You're good to go.
Thank you, Mr. B. Richards.
Okay. Ms. Simmons.
Your Honor, Joshua Deckert is present on Zoom. He is number 2 on the 8:30 a.m. calendar, present for his first pretrial today.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Good morning again, Mr. Deckert.
Morning.
Okay, Ms. Simmons.
And Your Honor, we're just going to keep that jury trial date of December 27th. Mr. Deckert and I have just scheduled an appointment to meet.
Okay. All right, Mr. Deckert, you have your future court date already set. We'll see you back here then.
All right. Thank you.
All right. You're good to go, sir.
Thank you,
All
Mr.
right. All right.
Okay. All right, Ms. Simmons.
And Your Honor, I would defer to other counsel.
Sure. Mr. Stashevsky, are you ready?
Yes, Your Honor. I can speak to Mr. Wyatt Hubrigson's matter. He's on the 3 and 4 at the 9:30.
Mr. Braden Hubrigson.
Correct, Your Honor. And I spoke with him yesterday and via Zoom this morning. I'd like to request to waive his appearance under Rule 3.4.
Mm-hmm.
And Your Honor, I'd be asking for a good cause continuance. We're going to set up an appointment for the two of us to discuss his case. Yesterday was the first opportunity we had to connect.
Okay. Does he need a continuance, or does he already have his future date set?
I believe we would want a continuance, Your Honor. And please inform me if I'm wrong. My understanding is like the dates would already have been set.
They should have been, yeah.
Your Honor, my understanding is trial confirmation is already set for December 11th, although that could of course be wrong in my system.
Okay. Well, it's, I mean, we set them at the same time we set pretrial hearings. So his future date should have already been sent to you. Yeah, he won't need another pretrial hearing unless you need it for a specific purpose.
Okay. So we'll keep those dates then. Is that my understanding?
That's right.
Okay.
Which one's the real judge?
Okay. Any others you'd like to call?
Fun fact, neither one is the judge. This
Not
is a
at this
commissioner.
time, Your Honor. Do we know if Daniel Moulton or Jason Stewart is present in the courtroom?
Yeah, Mr. Stewart's here.
He's a commissioner
And,
that everyone agrees can act as a
here.
judge.
Get to
That's
him.
how they do it.
All right. He's got a first pretrial. Is he assigned to you?
Correct, Your Honor. And it would.
Is his case going to be a disposition today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Stewart, you're going to make an appointment with Mr. Stashevsky, but you should already have your future court date set for you. Did you get notice of that?
No, I did not.
Okay, did you get notice of today's court date?
Just when I released.
Okay, do you have a cell phone number?
Yeah.
Can you give that to the clerk?
360
Mm-hmm.
489 947.
Whoa, I just about missed it. Sorry, I was looking at something else.
Just a text.
A text.
Welcome, Unbalanced Equation. Good to have you here.
We'll send it to you by text.
Send me his number.
He's good at pretending.
He's
He's a
the
pretty
public
good
defender's office.
pretend judge, too.
Yeah, you can just reach out there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Katia, by the way,
Thank you, Your Honor.
I did see Judge Wolf's
All right, any others, Mr.
community
Stashevsky?
post about an hour ago,
Not at this time.
where he's basically
And
going to
Ms.
stop
Simmons,
live
did you want to
streaming
jump back on?
a lot of stuff and
To
restrict
Your
it.
Honor, Michael Day is numbers 2 and 3 on the 9 a.m. calendar. I'm wondering if he is present in the courtroom. I don't see him on Zoom.
Mr. Day, are you in the courtroom? Nope, no answer.
If he's
well,
not there,
Your
we're going to go
Honor,
to Judge Webster.
I have no representations to make to the court.
66 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone, and that you did not have insurance at the time.
Yes.
Is anyone making you enter these pleas today by threats or promises?
No.
And do you understand you do have the right to trial, but if I accept this plea, there will be no trial?
Yes.
66 and a 55. 11 over.
So
Yeah,
can you
that's
tell me in
speeding.
your own words what would make you guilty of the speeding charge and no insurance?
Well, I was driving without insurance.
Well, I was coming down Ohio off of 254, and I had a coughing fit. The speeding was more of an accident, but when I stopped coughing, I'd noticed that I was speeding, and the state trooper pulled me over. And like I said, the insurance deal was just a miscommunication between my wife and I. I thought we had insurance, and we didn't.
That's not just
And a couple of days afterwards, I did obtain insurance, but at the time that I got the ticket, I did not have it.
Well, it's a shame that CDL keeps you from diversion, because you would have been a good candidate, it sounds like. All right, and I can take judicial notice that is a 55 mile per hour 2-lane county road that you just described, and you said you did realize you were speeding, and you admit 66, is that right?
Yes.
All right, I do find that the plea is knowingly and voluntarily given, that the defendant has given a factual basis to support the pleas to both counts, and that he has given me evidence to establish jurisdiction. Having found that he waived counsel, I do find Mr. Orman guilty as charged. Recommendations for sentencing, Mr. Rivera.
Yes, Your Honor. On the speeding violation, the state is prepared to recommend the scheduled fine as well as court costs. On no proof of insurance, the state is prepared to recommend the statutory minimum fine as well as a suspended sentence of 120 days and 6 months of non-reporting probation. I will, of course, defer to the court on the issue of repayment of the case. And this does appear to be a case where the notice to appear on the ticket includes today's date and time, which the court may consider relevant in light of the severity of count 2.
Anything you want to say, Mr. Orman, before I determine your sentence? You don't have to, but you're welcome to.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Then at this time, on count 1, I will assess the scheduled fine of $51. On count 2, I will order the minimum fine of $300 plus court costs of $108 for a total due of $459. Your jail sentence on the no insurance will be a suspended 120 days. Suspended meaning you will not have to serve the 120 days as long as you are successful on a non-reporting probation for 6 months. You don't have to see a probation officer, but you're still on probation for 6 months, so that during that time, should you violate probation, you could have your probation revoked and your sentence reinstated and serve that time. To not have that happen, or in other words, to be successful on probation, 3 things. 1, don't violate any laws during the 6 months. 2, pay the $459. And 3, get your picture and prints taken by meeting with Court Security 2 as soon as I let you go here. Now, how much time do you need to pay the $459? You need 30 days, 60 days?
Probably 60 days if I could.
Is 60 enough, or you need me to go 90?
I'll take as long as I can. Right now, work is starting to slow down, so checks are getting kind of iffy.
All right, 90 days from today, it must be paid in full, $459, or you're in violation of probation. You have to meet with Court Security 2 and set up a time and get your picture and prints taken, or you're in violation. Violate the law and you're in violation. Violations can get you revoked and make you serve the jail time. Any questions about that?
No.
All right. Mr. Regier, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
And we will be in recess. However, you're not free to go until you set something up with Court Security 2 here. So, Missy, if you give them an invitation to a breakout room, please, Mr. Orman and Court Security 2.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, sir. We will now be on the record in 2024 TR 2210, State of Kansas versus Jerry Lee Penwell. Jared Regier for the state. Jerry Lee Penwell fails to appear on improper stopping load too wide for vehicle and unlawful equipment or unsafe vehicle. Mr. Regier, this was a citation with a date for him to be here.
Yes, Your Honor. And if I may briefly review the applicable statutes.
Mr. Robert has been waiting a long time in his car.
Mr. Terrell, I thought for sure I was going to get to you next, but then his name popped up. So
Mr. Terrell's like, it's all right.
Getting close.
I'll
Maybe.
wait.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
Your Honor, in reviewing the ticket, it does appear to list multiple violations, including perhaps most relevant, an alleged violation on count 2 of KSA 8-1902. The ticket does appear to identify count 2 as a misdemeanor. However, I would respectfully advise my court in accordance to advise the court as to applicable law that pursuant to KSA 8-1901, quote, specifically subsection B, quote, any person violating any of the provisions of Article 19 of Chapter 8 of the Kansas statute annotated, except for the provisions of KSA 8-1908 and 8-1909 and amendments thereto, shall upon conviction thereto be fined in amount not to exceed $500. That particular subsection does not appear to address the imposition of an underlying sentence one way or another. So therefore, I will just respectfully defer to the court as to whether or not a bench warrant or a clerk's letter of suspension is appropriate, but the state would defer to the court on that particular issue.
Yeah, that is kind of annoying when you're trying to interpret what it means by when it says a misdemeanor, but the fine shall not be any higher than, or what does that mean about the jail time? Okay, I am going to issue a clerk's letter of suspension.
Very good, Your Honor.
And then let's see, I accidentally looks like skipped over a couple of people. Let's go back to Mr. Terrell. And
Mr. Terrell, you're up. It's your moment.
Mr. Underwood, make sure you pay attention because your charges are almost identical.
See who fares better out of the two.
Mr. Fukawa, did you need something else or did you just need me to release you from the proceedings?
Yeah, please, I need something else. I didn't get. So, I don't know if you said our next meet should be on January or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, your next court date, January 13th at 9 a.m. And that's by Zoom.
Okay, and then, so as far with the room, with that room that will send me there, so they take me to come over there in Kansas.
So did you go in the breakout room with the officer?
Yeah, I went there, so they told me to come there and then give my fingers. So I would like to know what is it about.
Give me my fingers.
Missy, what's the issue here?
Fingerprinting? What?
I'm not sure, Judge.
Court security 2, do you know what the issue is?
That was Deputy Throckmorton, but he set him up for his time to go down and get his pictures and prints taken, and he's supposed to be there on next Tuesday, the 19th at 2:30.
Okay, did you get that, Mr. Fukawa? You have to be at the Butler County Detention Facility, the address, Deputy?
Yes, 701 Stone Road. Yeah, he got that address.
Stone Road, S-T-O-N-E, Stone Road, El Dorado, Kansas.
Yeah, to get a picture with my fingerprints.
You have to go get a picture of your fingerprint, a picture of you and your fingerprints, and you have to post a bond. No order.
And then come back here at the Zoom on January 13th, right?
Correct.
All right, just to make sure.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Now,
So
Mr.
back
Terrell.
to on the record in 2024 TR 156, State of Kansas versus Robert P. Terrell, Jared Regier for the state and Mr. Terrell in person. Now, Mr. Terrell, you were here on August 21st to 24 and said you were applying for diversion on the one count of registration violation. Did you apply?
When I went to apply, my voice, when I went to apply, it said we denied if it was over 14 days.
Did they actually deny you, or did the rules say you had up to 14 days to apply?
Yeah, and then after the 14 days, well,
So did you turn in an application over 14 days?
Yeah, it's like 21 days after when I went to travel for my job.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like they're getting pretty strict.
Job. So like I said, right now I'm in New Mexico.
Okay, well, what do you want to do about this one count of registration? Do you want to set it for trial or plead guilty or no contest?
Yeah, no contest.
Do you want some extra time to hire an attorney or apply for court appointed, or you just want to represent yourself today?
I'm sorry, ma'am. Can you repeat?
Are you wanting an attorney to represent you, or are you representing yourself? Are you representing yourself today, Mr. Terrell?
Okay, now.
Are you wanting to represent yourself today and waive your attorney?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, you understand you can hire an attorney or apply for court appointed. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing that, you want to waive your right and represent yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I will have Mr. Regier note in the journal entry that you have knowingly and voluntarily waived your right to counsel and are representing yourself. If no one's making you do this, you're doing this on your own free will, this waiving counsel.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
How do you plead to the one count of violation of registration?
No contest.
You don't want to admit it, but you don't want to deny it and take it to trial either?
Yes, ma'am.
And is anyone making you enter the no contest plea today by threats or promise?
No, ma'am.
Finding that you are freely and knowingly waiving counsel as well as entering this no contest plea, I turn to you, Mr. Regier, and ask if you have a factual basis to support the charge.
Yes, Your Honor. The ticket in this matter appears to refer to a stop occurring on June 5th of 2024 involving a 2016 Kia. The location of the stop appears to be listed on the ticket as I-35 at milepost 73 North. The state's understanding is that is northwest of El Dorado city limits, but still well within Butler County boundaries. Besides citing the defendant for an alleged violation of KSA 8142, the license year in the top portion of the ticket appears to indicate a year of 2023, and the top again appears to be listed as June 5th of 2024.
I do find the factual basis sufficient to support the plea and find Mr. Terrell guilty. Recommendations, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor. A $50 fine, $108 court costs, 30 days underlying sentence, 6 months of non-reporting probation.
Mr. Terrell, anything else you want to say?
No, ma'am.
Then your fine is $50. You do owe court costs of $108 for a total of $158. Can you pay that in 30 days or less?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that will be the order of the court. I will give you a 30-day suspended sentence, but you won't have to serve that as long as you're successful on 6 months non-reporting probation. Conditions will be that you violate no laws during the 6 months, that you pay the total due within 30 days. And I believe that's it. Anything further, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, and that was a $50 fine and $108 court costs?
It was.
State has nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. And you can pay that online, or you can pay it at the clerk's office or by mail.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Here we go. We'll now be on the record in Robertson, 2023 TR 3451, State of Kansas versus Lexi Marie Robertson. Jared Regier for the state. Ms. Robertson, please start your audio and video. Okay, start your audio, please. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, very good.
Okay, sorry, I had my video off because I've got a potty training baby running around my house. I don't think you want to see that, so.
Okay. Ms. Robertson, you told me back on August 21st, you're going to look into diversion. June 5th, you were going to look into diversion. Did you get around to doing that?
I did, yep, and I got approved, but I think I'm gonna have to end up sending that car back, so I'm kind of at a crossroads as to what to do, like, legally. I got it from a dealership that pretty much scammed me and like tricked me into getting this car.
Okay.
But it's from Missouri. They didn't tell me that they didn't include the tax in the whole payment process. So it's gonna
be so do you want to pursue the diversion?
Hang on.
Or not?
I just found something interesting.
I would love to. I've been saving a little bit of money. I did lose my job, and I'm not on unemployment yet. So, I have been saving money.
You can apply for court-appointed attorney, or you can proceed with diversion.
Give me a second to get this set up.
The attorney's not always free. They could be up to $250 as part of your costs. Not trying to let that discourage you, but I'm just saying that could happen. Do you want to continue with the diversion? Have you talked to anyone at the county attorney's office to see if it's still an option?
No, I'm not. I could reach out after, and get that.
I'm going to send this over for you. Continue this one more time at your request to February 26th, 9 a.m. But I'm going to expect to have some kind of movement towards resolution, a plea, a trial setting, or diversion.
Okay. Thank you.
You've been telling me since June you were going to do this. All right. Nothing further, Mr. Regier?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
You are on a 500 surety bond, and that will be continued, Ms. Robertson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. You may go at this time.
Okay.
We'll now take up Underwood on the record in 2024 TR 1514, State of Kansas versus Aaron Tucker Underwood. Jared Regier for the state. Mr. Underwood, can you start your audio and video, please? Mr. Underwood, I can't give you credit for being here if you don't respond. So please start your audio and video, or I'll have to probably issue a warrant.
Sorry. That works real quick.
All right, sir, you told me back on August 21st of 2024 that you were going to apply for diversion on this one count of registration. Did you apply?
Yes, ma'am, I did. And I also got accepted. But it was late because I procrastinated.
Okay. So what are you going to do? Did they send you a contract?
Yes, ma'am, they did.
We've seen him
and
before.
Are you going to send it back or what?
I'm having my mom help me with that because I've never done that. Yeah, I have the contract for the diversion.
Okay, but you want your mom or somebody to help you look it over and make sure you do it right?
Yeah. Getting this set up. I want to show you something. We might have cracked
don't wait too long. You had somebody a while ago say he was denied because he waited too long. I will set your case over to that February 26th date. February 26, 25 at 9 a.m. If you want diversion, it better be done before then, or I won't continue it again for that reason.
Yes, ma'am.
You better get mom to get with you quickly on that if the county attorney will still accept it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anything further, Mr. Regier, on this one?
Nope. Okay, we're gonna bail. Hang on. I saw something. I was watching Judge Cedric Simpson's court, and let me pull that up so I can show you. I saw something in the background. It was a little interesting. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then I did some checking. I'm like, hang on. We might have solved a crime here. Just one second. Let's search Judge Cedric Simpson. Where are we at? Let's see. Let me look here. Okay, I need to find where the actual moment is that happens. Okay, here we go. All right. I'm going to pull this up right here. This is Judge Cedric Simpson's court, and pay special attention to Tierra there in the bottom. Now we're going to speed things up about 2 times speed because they're on break and not much happens. But I'll see if I can pause it at the right moment. Okay, let's just wait. She did a lot of getting ready. She took us around her house. I think at one point we were behind the hand towel in the bathroom. There was just a lot happening in this. And I was intrigued because at one point she shows, like, it looks like her bedroom looks like it has a mirror on the ceiling. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But cool. Looks, yeah, there you go. Mirror on the ceiling. But then I started noticing this thing behind her on the wall. What is on the wall behind her? What? Hang on. Whoa, what was that? We're gonna go back. I'm gonna pause this and slow down. We're gonna slow down and let's see, speed. We're gonna slow it all the way down right here because I can't do much else other than that. And then we're gonna go back a couple seconds. Now watch on the wall behind her here. As she's moving slowly, there's a sign on the wall. Looks like a street sign, right? Like, what does it say? I'm trying to. It's like Johannesburg. I don't know. It's got to be some tourist location. No, nothing. Jermaine's trying to figure it out as well. He's looking intently. Okay. Stunberg. It ends in Stunberg on the top. And it's got something Ville on the bottom. Estenberg, right? I'm trying to, like, determine exactly what the sign says. Let's see if she moves and gives us the rest of the view here. I can spoil it for you. She does eventually, even though we're going really slow motion. Prestonburg and Paintsville. Prestonburg and Paintsville was the sign. So pause right there. Don't go anywhere, ma'am, because I did a little Googling. I'm like, Prestonburg. Never heard of that. Where is Prestonburg? This came up. This popped up. Prestonburg City Police searching for suspect behind stolen street signs. I kid you not. I'm not sure if this is the same one, but at Prestonburg, Kentucky, for the second time this summer, numerous street signs in Prestonburg have been stolen. Police say the prank will come to an end. Earlier this week, close to 20 street signs were stolen within an 8-block radius of the downtown area. Prestonburg City Police say that security video from the area has given them a clue to the identity of the person involved. Stolen signs were recovered at a home Thursday afternoon, but the suspect was not there. The stolen signs cost the city over $1,000 to replace. What is it about these signs? She's got a Prestonburg sign on the wall behind her. This is not like some tourist attraction where you can go buy street signs. This is a street sign, and she's in court. She's in court with Judge Simpson, and this is her backdrop. Now I have to. I don't know that. There's no proof that she stole it. It's just a coincidence that Prestonburg City Police say street signs are missing, and she happens to have a very unique street sign from that area on her wall. Maybe it was a gift. Maybe she takes us on a continued tour. If we continue watching, she has other street signs. That's a possibility as well. Let's go back and watch in real time and see. Let's see. This is nuts. Okay, let's go back to 2 and see what we have here. All right, there's the mirror on the ceiling. We've got some court paperwork being worked on. It is a Michigan court. It's a Michigan court, but I'm curious. I wonder if she's like, well, I live down here. Or I'm going to be out of the state. I'm down in Kentucky. Michigan and Kentucky, they're not. I mean, they're in the same section of the country. It's just a trip down south. Okay, so we're going to skip ahead as we can because this is a while back. Let's see the street sign. No, now she moves to a different part of the house. What's here? Oh, yeah, the street sign's back. Prestonville paints. That look at the reflective nature of that. That is not a poster. That is an actual street sign. It's big, too. It's huge. Okay. I don't know. Let's see here. Paintsville. Let me look up Paintsville really quickly. Paintsville is also in Kentucky. Looking at the map. Somebody's on the phone here. Just one second. Does she have a mirror on her ceiling? It looks like she does.
Call from
Crime Stoppers.
Ivan, how are you doing?
Listen. You can't be a narc, man. Like we don't know what that could be any sign. You know, that could.
It could be. Other than that, Prestonville and Paintsville are two cities that they're nearby each other in Kentucky, and that one of them is missing their street signs.
Now listen,
Prestonburg is maybe 10 miles from Paintsville.
She's making it very, very difficult for me to defend this behavior because it's one thing, who among us in our
who hasn't right?
School,
who doesn't? By a show of hands, who doesn't have a stolen road sign on their wall?
Listen,
me. I don't. I'm not among, No, that is. Look at the reflectivity. That is most definitely an actual street sign, and it's from the middle of nowhere. Do you know how much those things cost? At least $1,000, according to the city.
Apparently, $1,000, according to the newspaper. However, maybe she was gifted this. Maybe she, maybe
that's called receiving stolen property. You know as well as I do. That's not okay.
Maybe her and her boyfriend shared their first kiss at the street sign of Prestonburg and Paintsville. Okay, and he went out and commandeered that sign like a true hero. Okay, there could be a romantic story behind this. We don't want to bust that up. Okay, we don't want to be the narcs in all this. Now she's making it difficult broadcasting it in court of all places. Like she's making it hard for me to defend this behavior. Certainly, like she's almost like flaunting it. She could be sitting anywhere in her house. She chose to sit in front of the stolen property. However, but holy smokes.
That's
good work, I guess. Some things are just better left for us. Okay, like we don't need to. Some things are just good for our community and good for the chat and good for the group. We don't need to share all of our good nature and good fortune with everybody. So
well, here's the problem. Yesterday, I got told off. Well, or the day before, I forget which one. I got told off by the court up in PA. They really lit into me and told me I can't show the disciplinary hearings anymore because they tell people not to do that. I'm like, well, you didn't tell me. Well, they told me now. So now I need good favor with the court. Do I need to call Kentucky and say, hey, look, I'm trying to get some karma back?
No, this is not the way. You don't get good karma by ruining some petty criminal's day. Okay, I don't know the rules of karma specifically.
Petty criminal.
But I'm pretty sure.
Did you miss for the second time this summer numerous street signs? This is habitual offender.
Well, maybe this is just one that got lost in the shuffle. Okay, we don't know that this is a part of the racket or ring. Okay, just because certain stolen property shows up doesn't mean that they're a part of the whole. This could just be a one-off and it's looking bad. We don't know the story. All I know is that our lives aren't going to be any better by this woman getting punished. Okay, I know that. So, I'm Team Tiara. Okay, I'll stand alone on this hill.
Team
Okay.
Tiara. Okay. Thanks, Ivan. Good talking to you, my friend. We'll see you.
All right, love you guys.
Bye.
From Mary.
Hey, Mary. This is Scott. How are you doing?
Hey, fine. I'm called in a bit because I had an e-bike accident and they told me to stay away from the lots of front. But I thought this was funny. I just out there. I think he solved the case again. It's all there. So, but she did it herself. You can't be the narc.
I believe if she just returns the sign, everything will be forgiven. Kentucky rolls that way. I mean, I just
you dip yourself at your toe into trouble every time, don't you?
I feel bad for all the drivers who are like, I know Prestonburg's around here somewhere. Did I miss the turn? And they'll never know because she took the sign. And there's probably road rage, people flipping each other off, maybe even accidents because of this. We need to do something.
All right. Well, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, Mary. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
All right, bye. There's no doubt in my mind that that this sign, although Tiara's stepped away from the signal, she's going on a walkabout. There's no doubt that is from Kentucky. The two very obscure Prestonburg. I mean, how many Prestonburgs are there? Let's ask somebody who knows. Hold on just one second. Hey Siri, how many Prestonburgs are there in the United States?
I found this on the web.
Let's see. Just Kentucky. That's the only one.
Call from
Blackbird.
Blackbird, how are you doing?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Not bad.
Hey, if her hearing is about petty theft, I'm gonna die.
Oh my goodness. It's already happened. I was watching. I think we have to stick around. I haven't seen what happened or what it's about. I have no clue. But I know what happens here. Judge Cedric Simpson's going to come back from break, and she's going to have her hearing handled. But
okay. Well, I also have to say it could have been some innocent little child on a camping trip that the adults sent down to the dead end road.
Oh no!
To get the sign.
No. I appreciate you giving them the benefit of the doubt. For the second time this summer, numerous. That means you can number them. Probably more than one. Numerous street signs in Prestonburg have been stolen, and police say the prank will come to an end. Close to 20 street signs were stolen within an 8-block radius of the downtown area. 20.
This is an epidemic. It's got to stop.
I think we've found our way into a crime ring, and we can crack it wide open right now.
I really think you're onto something here. This is hot news, so I think you should follow it. I'm just giving an example of my childhood and the things that we be up to.
Yeah. Did you ever steal signs?
Right. I don't think I should answer that.
The statute of limitations is like what, 3 years on stealing the sign? I think it's 3 years. You can tell us. I won't tell anybody.
This has definitely been 30.
Okay.
This has been, yeah. I assisted the adults in our camping party by going down with a crescent wrench and acquiring a sign.
Yes, from the factory, from the sign factory, right? Yes. Where they produce them on the side of the road.
We made a replica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exact replica. Looks like Jermaine just got his Orange Julius. He's ready to go. Blackbird, thank you very much. We'll delete this so no one will know that you ever did anything.
Yep.
All right.
Do that. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
20 stolen and then nearly 20 more. Police chief says first responders may have problems when seconds count. Up to 3 charged, up to 5 years in prison. This is serious. And it could be felony charges. You're crossing state lines to steal. Those are our signs, not stolen, says Paula Mack. People are lost. I don't know how many people are still doing loops in Kentucky because they're waiting for their exit. I'm like, oh no, there's a sign up here somewhere, and they're just endlessly driving in circles until their car runs out of gas and they starve to death on the side of the road because of this sign is missing. I had a sign once. I'm trying to remember what sign I had. I always wanted one from my street growing up, particularly because the city made two signs, one at Main Street and one further up east, and the spelling of the road at the two signs was different. Like they spelled the road name differently, so you'd have to get the pairs. You had both spellings. For GPS over signs. Josh, text me on the what's it about on the mod chat. Let's see. Let me get to the bottom here. I think he might have already done it. Oh, holy cow! I'm like 6 months back in mod chat. Oh my goodness. Hang on. Hold tight. Some of the signs were recovered, some, not all. Ashley, what we're talking about is this. I'm going to pull up just a screenshot, okay? So quick screenshot as we wait for this lady who is Tierra Maracha, I believe, Marcha. I can't read. It's too far away. The letters are really small. She's zooming into Judge Cedric Simpson's court right now, or was just a few minutes ago. And on her wall behind her, she has this sign that says Prestonsburg, and Paintsville, and it's a road sign. I'm like, wow. Road signs, they're not cheap, first of all, and they're, you can buy them for like famous like Abbey Road, like at the Beatles place. You can buy things like that, but Prestonsburg, Paintsville, I Google and try to figure out where is Prestonsburg, and I get this story. Prestonsburg City Police searching for suspect behind stolen street signs from 3 months ago. So we have an active crime scene, I think is what we have right here. Oh, and now we're doing our hair. Looks like a curler. A straightener. Straightener. I think it's a straightener. I know my hair stuff. Oh man. So we're waiting. She's about to appear in court. We're back in the bathroom behind the hand towel. So the Judge Simpson, is in Michigan. He's not in Kentucky. And the two cities that were mentioned, Paintsville. Let me ask Siri again. Hey Siri, how many cities named Paintsville are there in the United States?
Here's what I found.
Looks like just Kentucky. So we just have Thomas. Oh my goodness. Thomas, this is absolutely nuts. Thomas did a little cyber stalking. What would you think if the defendant took a selfie about her court appearance, and in the selfie, the sign is behind her, and posted it on social media? I'm just saying, what would you think if that happened? Oh, okay. I can't show it, obviously. We're not gonna, even though her name's on screen, we're not gonna dox her on social media. She's almost asking I think she needs to turn it in. I think that's the right thing to do. This is all hypothetical. Yes, hypothetically on Facebook. And Jermaine is our witness. Jermaine is our witness. He's seen the whole thing. Hang on. Whoa. There's music. Thomas, I wasn't expecting music. It's got music to it as well. Is that TikTok? I think it's TikTok. Nope, Facebook. This is crazy. The two cities are due south of you from Ohio. Okay, we're going to fast forward a little bit. We've seen enough evidence. We know how this is going. We're waiting for the judge to show up in court. I wonder if she moves back to the street sign when the judge. Oh, there we go. Judge shows up right here. Boom. All right, here we go.
You may be seated. This is all the public defender's fault that I wasn't out here on time. I'll explain later.
Talking about God.
And I will not hold it against you. Yeah, I'm going to. No.
Hold it against you.
What? I know you like put it whatever happened out there. It happened.
There's our burner phone number if you need it.
Here it is. Court calls the case, People versus Mark Stopke.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. David Chan, on behalf of Mark Stopke.
Hi, Your Honor. Hello, sir. State your name. I'm Mark Stopke. All right.
He's not the one.
All right. So I'm going to take full blame for this. This case, Mark is in 22nd Treatment Court with Judge Kunke.
Yes.
Has been since July, and this case was supposed to move over too, but I don't think it did because he still owed money here. But he's been testing daily with 22nd Circuit Court.
So they were going to take the case.
She's back in front
and
of the
they were going to
roadside.
take the case. So I think it was supposed to move over, but because he still owed money here and he paid all the money here now, I think Teresa indicated. I don't know what
we're going to fast forward.
Right?
This is not our case. Okay, let's go right here.
What date did you do it?
Okay, we're fast forward.
There's $44 left on a late fee, a show.
Yeah.
I remember. And it versus Shannon Howe.
That's not her. Oh, there we go.
10% privilege on that. That warrant will issue immediately. I will set it aside if I find out she's in.
Keep watching the background of Tiara's screen to see if there's other stolen goods.
Court does call the case of the People versus Tiara Mancha.
Good afternoon, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Kearney on behalf of Ms. Mancha. Ms. Mancha, please state your name for the record.
Okay, you need to unmute.
Tiara Mancha.
Okay, she said it like 8 times and
Sorry.
couldn't hear.
We are here for a show cause. Ms. Mancha, I think it was set because she was not compliant with her payment plan. She did inform me that she recently had emergency surgery. She's been off work for the last month and a half. And that is why she did not make a couple of payments. She indicated that she can get back on that payment plan. I think it's set for $50 a month. Relatively soon. She has another, she's making a face, so maybe that's incorrect. She said she has another surgery scheduled for December, however.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be coming to Michigan. My father has mesothelioma, stage 3, just found out. But as far as these fines go, I had a job for a minute, and they were taking child support out, and I have a little bit left on that. I'm having a hard time with all these fines. I'm like $400 away from my license. So, is there any way to help? Is there any kind of help I can get? I'm so close to getting past all this.
What date did you do it?
Thursday.
Okay, she said it like 8 times and
Thursday.
couldn't hear.
You know what?
Which one?
I'm sorry. I think I may have mixed up my clients. I think I may have given you the wrong story of the man shot.
Okay, so what's her story?
I think her story is what she just relayed to the court instead of mine. That she is living in Kentucky. She said she has no transportation and no.
She's in Kentucky.
So she has no. What's her balance?
I'm looking.
She's in Kentucky.
Has she filled out a form?
I believe she has. You filled out
I filled out one before, but I don't think you guys got it. For some reason, you guys said you didn't have it. But I can go online and fill it out as soon as we get done here. If you
She'll need to fill one out. I'll take a look at it, and I'll just adjourn this out to January.
Okay, thank you so
January
much.
15th, 2025, 9 a.m. If you can make payments in between, then try to do it. I'll take a look at it and see.
Hold on one second.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press.
Hey, this is Scott. Who's on the phone?
This is Diana Root.
Hey, Diana.
I'm from Paintsville, Kentucky.
How are you doing, Diana?
I'm sorry to call you while the show's on. I watch you all the time, and I just wanted to call and tell you that I was from there, and I live in Columbus, Ohio now.
So, Paintsville. How do you get
That's
to Prestonburg?
in eastern Kentucky.
How do you get to Prestonburg from Paintsville? I mean, now nobody knows because the sign's
You go,
missing. But
you go up through. I don't drive, but you go up through Lexington or Louisville or whatever that is, and then it's just a straight shot from there, and you just go on into town. And those signs, when people don't steal them, they're on the road to show you, and it says "Welcome, welcome to Kentucky" with Loretta Lynn, because that's where Loretta Lynn's from. She's a country singer.
okay, so Loretta Lynn's from Paintsville.
Uh-huh.
Is that
She's
why
from,
people are
what they
stealing the
call-
sign?
Yeah, that's she's from what they call a holler. Some people don't know what a holler is, like my granddaughter.
Explain it as you would to a child, in case I don't understand.
Okay, a holler is like a big, long road, and at the end of it, there's, different places for houses.
Okay.
And I've still got my accent, so I'm sorry.
Let's
I
hear
tried
it.
to
Let loose. No, that's great.
I tried to lose it, but I've been up here 20 years and I still can't lose it. And my granddaughter, she, hopefully she has never picked it up. She's 12. And I tell her about some of the stuff that goes on down there. Nothing bad, but, just some of the stuff I grew up with. And she says, yeah, you're back with the dinosaurs, man.
So why
But
the
I'm going to tell you, I love your show.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
I get up every morning, and my daughter-in-law goes to work. My son goes to work. She goes to school. The first thing I do is turn your show on, and I have it on from the time you're on till you leave of evening. And my brother-in-law used to work at, I'm sorry, I talk a lot.
Oh, you're good.
My brother-in-law worked at WSIP radio station in Paintsville.
All right.
He used to.
Big station, right?
Well, it's not really that big, but they do all kinds of stuff on it.
Was he
like play music and stuff?
All right, like a music station. Okay. I'm intrigued. First of all, Loretta Lynn, is that like is there anything else that's either about Prestonburg or Paintsville that would make it be like, I need a sign that says that on it?
Oh, yeah, when you start to go into Paintsville, there's a place called Lomansville, and as you go through it and you start to go into Paintsville, there's a sign that says, welcome to Paintsville, Kentucky, home of country star Loretta Lynn.
There you go. So they basically brought it on themselves, right? By telling everybody that this is a famous place, you want to steal the signs, right?
Yeah.
You can tell us. Do you have a sign?
There's not too many. I'm not on the air, am I?
Yes, you are. I'm sorry.
Oh, Lord.
Do you want to not be? No, everyone loves you.
No, that's okay. I just didn't want to say nothing to make anybody down there mad at me.
Okay.
But, there's real nice places down there to live. I mean, certain spots, certain places are really beautiful. And a lot of people don't believe this, but they are bluegrass in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Because it's known for the bluegrass state. And a lot of people don't believe that, but they are bluegrass. Like in Lexington, there's bluegrass. There's actually bluegrass. Instead of green, it's blue.
That's cool. That's where they get the name.
Yeah.
I'm seeing here that that 10, 11, 12 just texted me a pinpoint on the map where the sign was stolen from, which is, we might be able to do a Google Earth and see if we can read the sign, although they blur out a lot of signs nowadays. Amazing. Who do we call to claim our Crime Stoppers reward regarding this? Do you have any connections down there?
No. Once I moved to Columbus when I was in the 11th grade, and I graduated from Hilliard High School. And so Columbus has just been in my blood ever since. And Paintsville don't have the buses, like the Dakota buses.
Yeah.
They don't have those buses down there, and there's no way of getting around except if you don't have your own vehicle, it makes it really hard.
Uber hasn't really taken off.
I guess that's why I like Columbus.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. I love that you're from Paintsville and could give us the inside scoop, and love that you listen. Thank you. Thank you for calling.
But I really love your show. It's really great. I like watching you and your wife on there, and
she's the best, isn't she? I love her.
Yeah, I like to hear her talk, Mrs. A, or R.A., or ever how you pronounce it.
She's queen to me. But
yeah, she is really nice. And she tempted us with those cookies the other day.
I ate a couple today as well with my lunch.
And my son likes Mountain Dew like you do.
Good. Sounds like a good kid. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the call.
Okay, thanks for taking my call, and I really like your show. Thank
you so much. Have a great day.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Wow. Is there a talk radio station down there? Let's see. Paintsville, Kentucky, talk radio. See, you've got WSIP. That's the one. It's New Country, WSIP. Let's see. Contact us. Should you make a quick phone call? Hang on. Let me check the laws. Let's see. The laws in Kentucky. Hey Siri, is Kentucky a one-party consent recording state? Let's see. We've got it. This is one of the things you have to take into account when you're making phone calls. Kentucky recording law stipulates that it's a one-party consent state. That means that I can record a phone call. Let me make a quick phone call to. Let's see. Let's call this number. See if this rings to anybody.
Thank you for calling WSIP, WKLW, and WKYH Radio. Sorry, but the store is closed at this time. Our normal hours are Monday through Friday from 8 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it at any time during this message, or please leave a message at the tone in our general Thank you for calling WSIP, WKLW,
What do you think a good extension number is?
and WKY.
100?
Please hold a moment.
100 works.
Thank you for calling WSIP, WKLW, and
I'm just going to guess some numbers.
Please hold a moment.
115.
Your call cannot go through. Thank you for calling WSIP, WKLW, and WKY.
I don't know. Wanted to talk to a radio station and just ask how big the problem was. If it's a serious problem. Somebody sent me Crime Stoppers and the sheriff. I want to know how big the problem is. Let's see. Somebody sent me something. I'm looking. A lot of alliteration there. Bluegrass Crime Stoppers accepts anonymous tips. Can lead to cash rewards up to $3,500. It's Johnson County Sheriff. Let me ask some questions. Can I do that? Can I just ask some questions? Just going to ask some questions.
Johnson County Sheriff's Office.
Hey, I've got a question. Is there somebody you can talk to about the stolen street signs in Prestonburg area?
You'll need to call the Prestonsburg office to report that.
Oh, okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I just wanted to see if it was still going on, if it's still a problem. I don't know what is the right thing to do here. Full disclosure, I've been in this situation before. I've been in a situation where I was aware of a crime, much more serious crime, but if it's tax money, isn't it all our business, Ivan? Look at mod chat. Okay, I'll look at mod chat. Hang on. Oh my goodness. I want to talk to somebody that's not the police about it. Let's see about Josh. Josh gave me a number. Let's see if we can call this one. I think this is the number I called before. Call the person who wrote the article. Who was that? Jamie Johnson?
WSIP, hello.
Hey, this is probably the weirdest call you're going to get all day, so I do apologize for that.
Oh, well, good. I'm ready.
All right. Hey, I'm a YouTuber, and I stumbled across a story online out of Prestonburg that the police are searching for some people who are stealing signs. like stolen street signs in your area. And I'm trying to, I might have cracked the case, but I'm trying to figure out, is this an ongoing problem? Is this something, are you aware of it at all? Or?
And I am not aware of it, no. Someone stealing street signs in Prestonsburg.
I know this is a competitor, but WMDJ had a story on it done by Jamie
Oh, I'm good
Johnson.
buddies with them.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Jamie. Yeah.
Jamie did a story on it about 3 months ago. And I'm a true crime YouTuber, and we follow courts, and there happens to be a court in a couple states away where a defendant appeared, and she had this sign behind her for Prestonburg and Paintsville. And I found this story and put things together. It turns out she's, in your state. And so I'm just trying to figure out, I don't know, can I talk to Jamie? Would you be able to put me in touch with Jamie? Who's that?
Yeah, I can. You want me to give Jamie your number?
Yeah, that would be the best.
Because, I'm sure you've tried to call WMDJ.
I haven't called them yet. I tried WSIP. I'm terrible at Googling, so I basically go all the wrong places first.
Well, let me see if I can. I'm going to write your number down. What is your number?
My number is 801-513-1160.
801-513-1160.
Right.
And WMDJ's telephone number is 606.
Is this? Hang on 1 second. Is this a public number? Or is this it's not like a private number, right?
No, this is the general number to the radio station, but he's probably there this time of day.
606.
285.
Okay.
8006.
Awesome. And Jamie's probably there. Does he have an extension or?
Not that I know of. It's a smaller station though, so there's probably not too many there.
All right. I'll see if I can get in touch. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You've been most helpful.
Good luck. I'll give him your. What's your name?
My name is Scott. Recovery Addict is the YouTube channel.
Okay.
All right.
And your name is Scott?
Scott. Yep.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
I will let him know to give you a call, and it's regarding the street signs in Preston.
I'll call him right now as well and see if we can connect. So Thank you. Appreciate it.
Very good. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we're going to call the reporter and let him decide what to do, because he's the local. Okay, we're asking for Jamie.
MDJ.
Hey, I am trying to get a hold of Jamie Johnson. Is he around?
No, he's not in today.
Oh man.
Try back tomorrow morning. I don't know. There ain't nobody here. It's just me. They all left for the day.
And you're his boss, right?
No, I'm just DJ.
Jamie did a story about some stolen signs in Prestonburg, some stolen street signs about 3 months ago. Yeah. And I think I cracked the case. I'm a YouTuber. We just found somebody local who's live streaming with the stolen sign apparently in the background. And I wanted to get in touch with him because I don't want to call the cops. I don't know the situation well enough to rat somebody out from a couple states away. But I'd love to give Jamie the chance to, talk to the person and, get the signs returned or something. But
I would do that. Rat them out.
Rat them out? You say go ahead and do it?
I'd call the cops, sure.
Is it a big problem? People stealing signs all the time?
Nah, I don't. I'm not sure. I haven't really. I remember that story.
Yeah, I know there were 20 signs stolen, but
can you tell me who it was?
I want to give Jamie the shot first.
Well, I ain't gonna say I don't.
I can tell you I'm a YouTuber. I live stream on YouTube, and we watch true crime. We follow courts. It's a court out of Wisconsin that the suspect from Kentucky just dialed into on Zoom and live streamed with the sign in the background. So if you go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, you'll see it.
Well, what's your YouTube channel?
It's called Recovery Addict.
Recovery?
Yeah.
Addict.
Oh, it's in Michigan. Sorry, the court was in Michigan, not Wisconsin. But
we're at Michigan. I'm from Michigan.
Yeah. So Judge Cedric Simpson was handling the case, but it was unrelated.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty neat.
Anyway, I'll see if I can. Man, is there anybody?
I'll let Jamie know.
Could you get him a message to see if he can call me?
He's got a Facebook page. It's Jamie Johnson.
Yeah.
Maybe you can contact him that way.
I might give that a try. Is Jamie? It's a boy, right? He?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I can never tell sometimes.
Jamie Johnson. You'll know it's him when you see it. It'll say, he'll have his WMDJ and all that stuff on his Facebook page.
All right. People. Okay. There's a lot of Jamie Johnsons, but
yeah.
And you say it's WMDJ.
Find one here in Prestonburg, Kentucky, and WMDJ, and it's him.
I'll give it a shot. I think I found him.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for letting me know. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, my goodness. Let's see if we find Jamie Johnson. Let's see WMDJ. Who shared it? No. I'm not finding him yet. There he is. Digital creator, radio personality, sales manager. Oh, he's a sales manager, and he writes stories. Looking good, looking good. Hey, Jamie. I think it would be great to have him as approach the suspect and return them instead of involving the police. I think that's the best bet. The police is escalating the situation. So I'm thinking that's the right thing to do. Okay, I'm telling you. Hey, Jamie, I reached out to the station and they recommended I contact you via Facebook. Let's see. Do I have a way to just text to speech on this? It's killing me. Okay, I just sent him a message. I'm going to see if he can call me. So far, it has not been received, but Jamie's a big Friday Night Football fan. Looks like a good dude. From Wheelwright, Kentucky. All right. We'll see what happens. See, a person by the same name was booked in Pike County, Kentucky for promoting contraband, first degree, on 5/30. Pike County is south of Prestonburg. WSAZ has the same story. Is it also by Jamie Johnson? It sounds like they're all owned by the same company. Can we watch Simpson, please? Let's jump back. Is he still going on? Let's see.
What we can do. Okay?
Thanks so much. January 20th, right?
No, January 15th.
January 15th. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Good day.
Courthouse case, people versus Raja McCraney.
On behalf of Ms. McClain, may you check via Zoom?
Yeah, Yes, Amber, that's the right one.
Failure to appear. As of yesterday, my understanding balance. I do not know. She's paid it since Monday. I do for the record.
I still have a balance on.
Let me show you
what I have. Bench will issue for defendant's failure to appear. Bond 5,000. 10% privilege on that. That warrant will issue immediately.
We've got another
Court calls case people versus.
Hang on. Judge Simpson, you're going to have to wait. We've got another story right here. This is from WSAZ. Street signs stolen again shortly after being replaced. Police say these thefts could slow down emergency responders when seconds matter. Large number of street signs in Prestonburg have turned up missing a second time shortly after being replaced. Prestonburg Chief Ross Shirtliff says beginning about a month ago, and this was in August, close to 20 street signs were stolen in the overnight hours within an 8-block radius downtown and near downtown. The joke's over, the sheriff said. It's not funny anymore. It wasn't funny to begin with. The chief says thanks to security video, they have an idea of who's doing this, and it's a matter of catching them in the act or with the stolen signs. Shirtliff says these thefts could potentially slow down emergency responders. It's an emergency. Seconds matter. Whoever's responsible is flirted with charges of criminal mischief and theft by unlawful taking, which could lead to sentences of up to 5 years and prison. They're serious about this. Shirtliff says the total cost to replace the stolen signs is now more than $1,000, not to mention the hours and resources spent addressing the thefts. The chief says some of the stolen signs were recovered at a home Thursday afternoon, but the suspect was not there. It's all fun and games until somebody else dies because the ambulance can't find their house. Okay, so here's my dilemma. I'm not big on reporting every crime, especially petty ones. Stealing a sign might be considered petty. Stealing 20 of them twice is not. There was a previous time where I had to make the same decision, and it was a life and death situation. It nearly killed me, where I found a bomb, and then I found the people who made the bomb. And it turns out that they were people I knew, and I had to make the call and turn them in. Had the bomb gone off when they tried to detonate it, it would have killed me. Fortunately, it didn't. And instead, it partially detonated while they were trying to break it apart and move it safely to another area. And it took a chunk out of a chain link fence that I still have to this day. I have the chunk that it blew out of the top rail of the fence. I've been there before. It's way different, Serbu. Because a bomb and the street sign, they're the same. It's crime, though. It's crime. I live a wild life. I have. What was the backstory on that? I went up fishing in the mountains above my house. And as I was headed up, it was Christmas Eve. Warm. It was warm. It was out west. No snow on the ground. As I hiked up the canyon that I used to fish all the time, so I knew like the back of my hand, I saw a wire that was out of place on the side of the road, and I was walking along. It just ran along the side of the road. It bugged me, and I'm like, why is the wire here? And it went off up through the trees and up the hill. I went up fishing, and I just couldn't get this wire out of my head, and I'm like, I'm never going to be able to focus on fishing until I figure out why this wire was there. So I hiked all the way back down to the wire, followed it up the hill, and it went into a reservoir, a drainage reservoir. And it went up through the chain link fence and down the hill and down to where the drain in the reservoir was. I was aware that the corner of this fenced-in property was damaged and you could get in, and so I did. So I trespassed inside the drainage reservoir and went and followed this wire down, and I went and stuck my head down into this hole, and I was confronted with a 20-pound propane cylinder with 6 pipe bombs attached to the outside, all with individual detonators that went up into a Tupperware dish that was sitting on top of it. and the wire fed into the Tupperware dish where it split off to these six explosives. What I didn't know at the time was the people who had made it placed the bomb, ran the wire, and were trying to detonate it with the 9-volt battery. But they had forgotten the battery. They placed the bomb, went to go get a 9-volt battery, and I went up there. We recreated the timeline once we had the full report, once this was all done. I went up, then I came down to the bomb. They came back with the 9-volt battery and set the 9-volt battery to the wires, little 2-strand wire. But because of the distance of the wire, the huge long run, hundreds of yards of wire, the resistance was too high and it didn't set off the charge. There wasn't enough voltage. That's when I was up looking at the bomb. They then left to go get a car battery to use that to set it off. I, meanwhile, went down and called the police and said, there's something you guys need to know about, not knowing who it was. I call the police. The police show up. I'm listening to the police scanner. At first, it's like one officer is like, yeah, there's a wire. Can you call somebody with a key? And it's really slow. It took like half an hour for them to get there. Eventually, they get somebody with a key to open the gate, and they go in, and then all heck breaks loose on the radio, and every unit in the county is sent there, and there's like helicopter gets launched and everything else. And it's just wild. It's absolutely nuts. While that is going on, I get a knock at the door, and it's a couple kids I grew up with who had moved away. And they're like, hey, we need to talk to you. And we're like, I went down to my room and talked to them like, hey, we made a bomb and we were trying to set it off. And then the cops showed up. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, yeah, they showed up, so we can't do it. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna make another one and do one somewhere else. And I told them, you guys have to turn yourself in. You knock it off. Don't. And you're gonna kill yourself or somebody else. I didn't know they had already tried to kill me unknowingly. And they left my house saying, no, we'll just make another one somewhere else. And then I had another decision because I had already called in the bomb. I was already the caller. And so I called a neighbor of mine, a friend of mine, a family friend who was an older gentleman. And I said, look, I've got some information I need to give the cops because somebody's going to get killed if nothing happens. And I said, look, you're on the city council. Can you, I don't know how to do this. How do you give the cops this information? I mean, it's not fun for me to have to, turn these guys in. And he's like, hey, let me come over. I'll pick you up. We'll go up and talk to him. It's not a problem. And as we're driving over there, I haven't told him much of anything. I say, hey, because this time I was 21 years old. I said, hey, just let them know I'm licensed to carry a concealed weapon. I do have my firearm with me, just so they're aware, just so it's not a surprise. Hang on, we've got a call coming in.
Call from
Rhonda.
To accept, press.
Hey, this is Scott.
Hey, Scott. I don't want to give out my name. Am I online
you're
right
on,
now?
You're on live.
Well, just don't post my name. I drive for UPS. But anyway, I called that police department and reported that TRM.
Oh, no. Well,
he said they have most. He said that they have most of them recovered.
Well, this might be the last one.
I sent them to your page.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you very much.
You rock.
All right.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Well, that solves the question. Going back to the story, I said I'm licensed to carry a concealed weapon, and I have my weapon on me. Just tell the police officers that I'm packing heat. And they're like, okay, no problem. And he gets out of the car, and he says, wait in the car. I'll have one come over. He goes and talks to the police officer, and I didn't find out this until after when I got a copy of the police report. But he goes and grabs one of the officers, and his words were verbatim as quoted by the officer. I've got the kid who made the bomb, and he's here to confess. That's what he said. Quote. He quoted that to the officer. I was not the kid who made the bomb, and I was not there to confess, nor did I have any idea that that's what he was telling the police officer. So I step out of the car, The police officer says, hey, can you turn around for me? And he turns around. The first thing he does, puts his hand on the back of my waistband where I've got my concealed carry weapon carried in back. And he's like, what's this? I'm like, that's my gun. Didn't he tell you? Why do you have a gun? And it escalated, as you might imagine it would at that point. He took the gun. I gave him my concealed carry license, which happened to be valid for 5 years, and his is only valid for 2. And he was like, he was thinking it was fake, but that's how the law worked. Anyway, so it was, so there's not enough reason to arrest me at this point. So he takes my gun, puts it in the back of his trunk, and he says, hop in the car, we'll go down to the police station. I don't know. All I know is that this is like, why is he treating me so weird? Okay, because I'm here to give him some, to tell him what happened and who done it. And so we're driving down to the police station, and at the time, I was dating a girl who was not Mrs. R.A., who lived across the street from this police officer. So I'm trying to make small chat, right? I'm like, I'm nervous. He's obviously nervous. We're driving down Christmas Eve down to the police station at night. And I'm like, so how do you like your new house? Right? I'm thinking I'm being cordial. I happen to recognize him because he lived across the street from my girlfriend. And he's thinking, I've got a bomber in my car who is telling me I know where you live. So that conversation also went poorly. Get down to the police station, and Ivan, drop the comments. I'm serious. It's done, or time out for the day. Get down to the police station, and I sit there. They put me in a room, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and finally an officer comes in, and he looks exhausted. And he's like, "All right, tell me what you got to say." And I go and I tell him the whole thing, how it went down, how it happened. And he's like, all right. He's been writing notes the whole time. And he stands up and he says, give me a minute. And he goes out. I'm sitting there for like 10 minutes. And when he comes back in, he just about knocked that door off the hinges. He slammed that thing open. Bam! Comes in. I jump out of my skin. He comes in. His face is red. And he's like, you lied to me. And he gets right in my face. He's like this close. And he just starts ripping into me. He's done the good guy, bad guy. His head turned around. It was a bad guy now. And he gets in my face, just ripping me apart. The same dude who was the good cop. The thing is, it was a small town. They didn't have enough people on staff to have a good cop and a bad cop in the interview. And so he had to play both roles. And so he gets in my face and he's yelling at me. And I'm like, I'm trying to like explain. I'm like, no, that's what I said. This is, and yeah. Eventually I said, look, I've told you everything. If I need a lawyer, I'll just get a lawyer. I have nothing to hide. And he's like, oh, hang on. And he goes and leaves. I'm like, oh, that was wild. And then he comes back in, and it's good cop again. He's switched around. He's like, look, sorry about that. We just have to do that to make sure you're telling the truth. I'm like, well, it scared the bejeezers out of me. And so it's by this time, it's 2 a.m. in the morning, Christmas morning. The bomb squad's up on the mountain, dismounting the bomb. Parts of it have exploded. They say it was equivalent to like 3 or 4 blocks of C4 as far as the explosive power of the bomb. And so 2 o'clock in the morning, they end up giving me my concealed carry firearm back and my license, and they're like, have a good night. And I got to walk home because it was snowing, and that was it. that was how it ended. The people who were responsible for the explosive were caught, even though they knew exactly who they were and where they lived. They were caught 2.5 weeks later, purchasing purchasing end caps, metal pipes, more gear for more bombs, all at the same time. And they ended up serving time in federal prison, 2 years in federal prison. One of them, upon release, approached me once with a weapon. And I also had defense weapons, and neither one of us drew, but both of us had our hands on our weapon, and we talked as if nothing had happened. And then we turned around on the left, and he ended up overdosing. And the other one I've never spoken to again. So that was my Christmas story. That's why they say Die Hard is a Christmas story as well. Anyway, that's That's my bomb story. I'm just saying I've been in a tough situation where I've had to report somebody. How old were the guys? One of them was just out of the military where they trained him, guess what, to make explosives. And that's where he had learned, and he learned well. What about the detective? I used to run into him at the parades in town. And he became the police chief. Could at least called you a cab. No, everybody, there are no cabs, first of all. It's a tiny town, and everybody was up on the mountain. But it was quiet. Were they just randomly making bombs and blowing stuff up? Yes, they had made a single pipe bomb a couple weeks previously and had told me that they had blown something up. When they talked to me, they told me they had blown something up. And I went up and checked on it. I didn't believe them. But I went up and checked on it. There was about a 4x4x8 cinder block building that they had placed it in, and it had demolished the building and had blown the steel door nearly through the fence that was around it. It was an old building on top of a water tank that they had destroyed. And I nearly went to prison because I didn't tell the police that until after I went up and verified that they actually had done that. So that was fun, because then I got the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms to come out to my work where I was not a sales manager, I was a sales person. And the BATF shows up and says, flashing the badge, and like, we need your conference room and that employee. That was fun to explain to the boss as well. So, yeah, they were just bored. Anyway, that's how things went. All right, I hesitate to take any more calls. Let's see.
Call from Melissa P.
Hey, Melissa. How are you doing?
Hey, Ari. How are you doing?
I don't know. It's been a wild day.
It has been normally I would not call in and tell you the story, but I had to call and tell you the story after what you just said. Mm-hmm. My dad passed away in 2019, unfortunately, but the man was a computer programmer and a nerd. Mm-hmm. Like, we're talking nerd from the time he was born, he was a nerd.
I love it.
Well, he had an FBI file until the day he died, because he managed a motel in Myrtle Beach when he was in college during the summer. And he went back to his room one night, and his roommate had a girl over. Well, my dad had been working a long shift, and he grabbed a bomber jacket, had no shirt, had on shorts, put a couple beers in his pocket, and went out walking. Mm-hmm. Well, he got picked up by the cops, and it turned out there was an armed robber that looked just like him. And even though they figured out it was not my dad, for some reason, that FBI file followed him. And my dad had a little bit of Middle Eastern descent. Uh-huh. And so he looked a little, darker complected. Well, in 2002, my parents decided to go to Europe. And my mom said, I'm over 50. I'm going to wear light up shoes. And I want you to know they detained my parents for almost 24 hours at the airport because they found my dad's FBI file, and my little 4'9" mother is wearing light up girls' shoes.
Shoes with electronics in them. And that's a quick way to get on the no-fly list.
Yes. And my mom was sitting there like yelling at them, and my dad's going, be quiet, just be quiet.
Don't talk.
But until the day he died, and my dad was a computer programmer that specialized in like counterterrorism and anti-money laundering. Wow. So it was amusing. And so I had to call and tell you that after your bomb story, because I had never heard that one.
That's wild. I had the opportunity to go to one of those fairs where the police pull up with all their fancy toys, and all the kids get to climb around the fire trucks, and the helicopter lands and everything, and it's all cool. And the bomb squad was there, and they're showing off this robot and all this gear. Like, they can take x-rays of packages and detonate things. I'm talking to the guys. I'm like, this is cool. I'm like, so how many bombs have you found? And the guy's like, none. I'm like, oh, so I found more than you?
That is good. Okay, I do have to ask you one question before I hang up, though.
Yeah.
So the guy that went off on to be the police chief that thought he had a bomber in his back seat, how did he treat you when he found out you were innocent?
I haven't talked to him anymore. I did not know that he said that until after the court case, after they'd gone to prison.
I always knew you were a troublemaker. It's not really Amber, it's you.
But
you're the innocent
thing is,
one.
I had never said anything like that. I don't know where he got that story. And he's a great guy. And his family's great. I've been out deer hunting with him and his family. I mean, when I was younger. But had the bomb gone off, Genjo, had the bomb gone off, they had placed it in a water retention area. Like out west, you have to store water so you can water your lawns, or else it just dies. And so this was irrigation water. It was a huge reservoir, and they had placed it in the drainage in the side. It would have blown the side of the mountain out towards the houses. So it basically would have broken every window in quite a ways and possibly damaged them. It was Christmas, so not many people were outside, but.
Oh, good. I grew up in the mountains in North Carolina, and I know what crazy people up there do, so I'm sorry. I had to call and tell you that story because I had never heard your bomb story, and I just thought it was funny.
I can't believe I haven't told that before.
I'm sure you have. Everyone in chat seems to have heard it. I just never heard it. And I was like, oh, my goodness. I could just see this spiraling out of control. Because, like I said, I watched my dad for years. He had top secret clearance, but an FBI file that followed him.
That's funny. I did the same thing. I did TSSCA. SCI. Sorry. So.
Well, I just had to call to say that. I hope you have a wonderful day, all right?
Thanks, Melissa. Appreciate it. We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye. Bob starting rumors over here. Saying, no, that's the full story. That's everything. And a fun little fact. When I went to college, first of all, I skipped on college. I graduated high school and very shortly afterwards entered the workforce full time. And then hit a glass ceiling at a salary that I was not happy with. And they told me, you'll never get more because you never went to college. And so I dropped out of work to go to college. So I went back to college, my first day and my first class in college. I walk in and some people started asking me some questions, some of the students, and I'm answering the best I can. I have no idea. And then I realized they think I'm the professor. They think I'm here to teach the class. And I've just like studied everything because I'm so nervous about going to college. I want to do well because I'm old and I don't want these little kids to show me up. But that first class, that English class that I was in, I had an assignment to write creative nonfiction, and I wrote up that story about finding the bomb, and it won first place in the writing competition. So that was fun. Anyway, so I won a writing contest because I had a good story. Professors have to pretend to be students. Have pretended to be students. I was hoping to talk to the radio person, but creative nonfiction is an oxymoron. Yeah, I never knew what the boundary was, but pretty much I could just tell the story and nobody believed it. But then I had the police report to back it up. I'm like, oh, yes, it is true. So it was good. I knew it was a good story when I took it to the tutor, like the English tutor's office, to help me proof it and sort of tune it up before I turned in the assignment. And they read the whole thing with rapt attention and didn't want to stop and do anything along the way. So I knew it was good. All right. Just start with this is a true story, then write anything. I'd say the creative part is I took out the names to protect the guilty. Did we catch the Corey Richards hearing? We didn't watch it live. Great segue, though, Psychosaurus Rex. The Corey Richards hearing, we had a couple things happen. Corey wants a bond. She's not going to get it. She also had some of the charges related to the crime specifically involving drugs dropped from the case, and she asked to have some of the real estate-related charges separated out, and it was granted. So we have the murder trial and then the real estate fraud situations happening separately. So there will be two crimes. We're going to follow the murder one. That's the one that's more interesting for us, even though I think the two were connected in a big way. Let's see. Let's see. Creative nonfiction is how I met a lot of people. Welcome to the life of a trauma ICU nurse. It's those weekend shifts, the late night weekend shifts where you see things that you never thought you would see. All right. It is 3 o'clock. We are one day closer to starting our new trial with Jose Ibarra. We're getting excited for that. I still have this nagging feeling that he's going to plead last minute. Does anyone else get that feel? First of all, he bailed on the jury trial. And a lot of people would stick with that if they're hoping to, they only have to convince one, right? It seems like the odds are not in his favor with the bench trial. But I'm just nervous that he's going to plead and the whole thing won't happen and we'll have to switch to another trial. I don't think he'll plead. Trauma nurse high five. That's what I work. Weekend overnights, yay, shift differentials. Yes, the money adds up a lot faster, especially if you can get some overtime in there as well. Maybe Jamie Johnson will call. Let me check. He still hasn't read his message. He has not read his message. I'm following him. I need to look at the sign. Going back to the sign just for a minute. That's awesome. Where's the map? Who sent me the map, the pin? Just one second. Oh, there it is. What road is this? 321. Oh, it's a state road. Okay. State Road 321. We have the actual sign as it appeared. Well, you can't see it in that camera. As it appeared in Street View on the side of the road. In Prestonburg, Kentucky on Kentucky 321. That is the sign, I'm telling you. It also happens to be directing the way to one of the directions is where the hospital trauma center is located. So it's an important little intersection there. Near Jenny Wiley State Resort Park. All right. Was that a green sign? Yes, it was. It was a green sign. If I turn off, well, it's right here. You can see a green sign right here. That's it. That's the sign. Prestonburg to the left, Paintsville to the right. Okay, sorry, just trying to catch up. Got a lot of messages here. Okay, we've got, Josh says we might have an interesting court here coming up. Just one second. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay, we've got, let's go here.
People versus Thomas Hernandez. We're here today for a hearing on a motion to quash a subpoena, and we are proceeding today partially by Zoom and partially by video conference. First, let me ask the attorneys to place their appearance on the record, beginning with Ms. Wilson for the Attorney General.
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor. Monica Wilson, Assistant Attorney General. I am here on the matter of quashing the subpoena issued to Ms. Russo-Bennett.
All right, Mr. Amadeo.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. William Amadeo, P76194 for Mr. Durham, Mr. Hernandez. We all appear via Zoom. Consent as such, and thank you for allowing that.
All right, and Mr.
Douglas Gucher, on behalf of D'Angelo McWilliams, who is the co-defendant in the matter of People v. Thomas Hernandez and D'Angelo McWilliams.
All right. Ms. Wilson, this was your motion to quash the subpoena. I'll give you an opportunity to make your oral argument at this time.
Yes, Judge. Again, Monica Wilson on behalf of Ms. Russo-Bennett. Your Honor, in this matter, the defense counsel have issued a subpoena to the assigned Assistant Attorney General that is handling this matter, and I think that is inappropriate for a number of reasons, but most importantly, that the information that tomorrow's hearing is about has to do with the policy and procedures of the Ypsilanti Police Department, their record retention, their record creation policies, and all of the information that they seek to discover is available through Ms. Lowry. And case law is pretty clear. You can only call the prosecutor assigned to the case if you cannot get the information from anywhere else. And again, whatever the policy of Ypsilanti may be, may not be what it was, what it is, that's the subject of tomorrow's hearing, but all that information is available through Ms. Lowry. Ms. Russo-Bennett is an Assistant Attorney General. She does not know the policy and procedures of Ypsilanti, their police department. So in anything that Ms. Lowry told her would be hearsay, but more importantly, it has nothing to do with the policy. So the information that defense counsel is seeking has to come through Ms. Lowry, not Ms. Russo-Bennett. So for that reason, we believe the subpoena should be quashed. If you look at defense counsel's responses, it's mostly what ifs. What if Ms. Lowry says this? What if Ms. Lowry testifies or doesn't testify to this? And they seek to go on a fishing expedition with Ms. Russo-Bennett to essentially get her off the file as prosecutor, because then she becomes a witness, and that's not inappropriate. She was told information, she relayed it along. Defense counsel, I believe, asked her to further clarify this information with Ms. Lowry, which she did. So she was attempting to, not sure the word here, pass along the information that they requested. And so now they're trying to use that against her, which again, it's not appropriate. And Ms. Lowry is the source of the information that they seek. And that is the subject of tomorrow's hearing.
All right, Mr. Amadeo, Mr. Gucher, I don't know if you've discussed who wants to go first, but I'll defer to you.
I'll go first.
I'll defer to Doug.
Your Honor, that's not an accurate recitation of what we're having occur tomorrow and what we're arguing. Tomorrow's an evidentiary hearing. We've not filed a motion to disqualify Ms. Bennett from the case in chief. I believe there's two distinct issues here. The criminal sexual conduct case is separate at this point in time. This is an evidentiary issue on the discovery issues that have been ongoing in this case. The court has records starting at the very beginning of this file back in August of 2020, where discovery requests were made for all recorded interviews in this case. We were told at the time that they would provide all discovery. I didn't receive it. I've been on the case. I'm the only attorney that's been on this case since the beginning. We've gone through at least 7 different assistant prosecutors I've dealt with on the case, so I'm just standing in. I've dealt with 4 different circuit court judges. There's been no continuity on this thing. And each time we start over with a new prosecutor, a new judge, we have to start back at the beginning. And we ask questions, and we started getting weird responses. I'd asked for all recorded interviews they refused or did not provide me with the co-defendant's interview, which they said was recorded by FaceTime.
That's in 900 years.
They had used a hidden recorder to record my client one time, and they did it in the open another time. Those were the only recorded interviews we got. And when I got the reports, I looked at them, I said, why, the complainants were interviewed the same way, why don't we have those? And the prosecutor said, well, let me check. Came back and said, the Ypsilanti Police Department has a policy they don't record complaining witnesses on these types of cases. Didn't like the answer, but that was the answer they gave me. So that was prosecutor number one, Vela. He leaves the case at some point in time. I don't get the recording of Hernandez. And you'll see in the court files that there's a motion then filed by myself to obtain the recorded interviews, all recorded interviews, specifically Hernandez. And the reason I said specifically Hernandez is because it's the only one that I was told that I didn't have. So I'm misled at the beginning by the prosecutor handling this case. Because as we find out later in September of 2023 on the eve of trial, they did record those, they just destroyed them. There was that policy that he cited to me was incorrect. So I make a second discovery request because we don't get the Hernandez interviews. Again, there's a stipulated order that says we'll give you everything, including all recorded interviews. This is by the Jackson prosecutors, a signed order in your court file that they stipulated to.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're talking about a lot about a Hernandez interview. That's not an interview that's an issue here.
It isn't, it is, and it isn't. At this point in time, I do have that. But I'm going to explain to the court why this is all connected to why Bennett is a witness in this case. They give me, they say that they'll stipulate to it. They don't give me the Hernandez interview, but they signed an order, a stipulated order saying they give me the Hernandez interview and all recorded interviews they had. They don't give it to us. We get a new attorney. Kelly Carter comes in on the case. Kelly Carter says, I file another motion, a second motion to compel the discovery. And specifically, I'm asking only for Hernandez. I'm never asking for the complaining witnesses because I've been told there was a policy they didn't record them. So Kelly Carter ends up getting me the Hernandez interview. So that's, I think I have all the recorded interviews. We ended up having an expert witness motion that was filed. On the day of the trial, there was an ancillary issue regarding one of the police witnesses from Eastern Michigan said that there was false information in our police report that we were given. I asked the Attorney General's office what the false information was, and the response I received was, you'll find out at trial. I said, no, that we can't do it that way. We've got to have an evidentiary hearing on it. She said, no, you'll find out at trial. That's, that's all that I know. They refused to find out what the information was that was false. They said, we'll find out at trial. Well, Judge O'Brien said, no, we're going to have this issue now. We're going to figure out what's going on. We're not doing it in front of a jury. And as Mr. Amadeo and I are cross-examining the Eastern Michigan officer as to what she said was false in Detective Kopic from Ypsilanti's police report, Kelly Carter stood up in court and said, I think I told you guys this, but I have a recorded interview of the interaction between Kopic and McLennan. It's the very first time we ever heard anything about a recorded interview of a witness in this case that hadn't been turned over to us, that was hidden from our knowledge. We had no idea about it. Kopic had showed up at that court hearing, evidently provided Kelly Carter, to my knowledge, that day. I don't know if she knew about it prior to that or not, but on that day, they turned over that recorded interview.
Kopic, I'm sorry, what recorded interview?
The interview that Detective Kopic did with Officer McLennan.
Not helpful for me.
Officer McLennan was an Eastern Michigan University police officer. There was a dispute over whether or not there was a recording made of the two defendants in this case when they were victims in the case initially. The Attorney General.
So,
yes.
The interview you're telling me was discussed at this hearing was an interview of who?
Officer McLennan.
So one police officer interviewing a second police officer?
Correct. They were recording to find out. Originally, these cases began with Hernandez and McWilliams being victims of online harassment by one of the complaining victims, in this case's ex-boyfriend. And he was prosecuted. Eastern Michigan started that case, And according to the reports of Ypsilanti Police Department, there were recorded interviews of both McWilliams and Hernandez. McLennan, who was the investigating officer at the time, said that that was untrue. There wasn't one. They were in a recorded interview room, but because they were victims of harassment, she didn't record those interviews. But we were unaware that her statements being made and interviewed by Copic to find out about that were actually recorded, even though there had been multiple requests, discovery requests for all recorded interviews to be turned over to us. They hadn't. So in the end of 2022, I believe, is that hearing. It could have been in the beginning of January 23. They turned over another recorded interview to us that Ypsilanti had that they had failed to disclose to us. They were withholding. So we've had this ongoing issue with discovery and with multiple prosecutors. We had this matter set for trial. It was supposed to begin jury selection on September the 11th of 2023. On September 5th, I was out of town on a brief vacation for a couple of days. I get a phone call from Mr. Amadeo. He said, "Have you seen your email?" I said, "No." He said, "Take a look at them. They're telling us that they..."
Okay, sir, I respect your desire to tell me the story, but I need you to be more concise.
Okay.
So...
Bennett's had the interview. Bennett's on that day, for some reason, got a phone call or talked to Detective Lowry, who disclosed that she lied. That there actually was recordings at one point in time, but they were destroyed. And we had transcripts from a companion case of People v. Bujaki, which have been attached to our motions, which show that Lowry, when she testified, knew that she had testified to in another case involving one of the fraternity brothers. That is a policy of Ypsilanti. They do not record victims' interviews. They were not recorded. She doesn't have to record them. The defense counsel said, Detective Lowry, don't you think that would be beneficial for the defense counsel to have? She said, absolutely, but I don't have to do it. I don't do it. Okay, we get an email from APA or AAG Russo Bennett, who says, yeah, they did record them. They just didn't retain them, is her words. They were destroyed. And she said there was a policy that Copic taught this officer who testified in another case that there was no such policy, that she didn't record the interviews, that they actually did record them. They just didn't retain any of them. She also, so Lowry now is being called in as a witness in this case. There's only 2 people on that phone call. If you look at People v. Tesson, the prosecutor in that case, Mr. Rose, who was disqualified from the case is the actual, at a trial, not at the evidentiary hearing that they had, which I don't know if Rose actually testified at the evidentiary hearing or not. But the court found that they was the only 2 people in these interviews. The only person that could testify to what actually happened during the course of that interview was Rose and the individual. And if they disqualified Rose, even though 5 other people observed her. In this case, this is an evidentiary hearing. This isn't a trial. This is an evidentiary hearing on what happened on that phone call. Since that incident has occurred, they've kind of tried to qualify what actually was said. I got an email that said that there was a policy that they recorded the interviews and they weren't retained. Now they're telling me they don't know if that's actually what happened or not. So I anticipate what's going to happen is Lowry is going to say, try to rectify her previous testimony, which would be false, which would be perjury. And now that she's going to be confronted with obstruction of justice, false police reports, misconduct in office, federal civil rights violations on every case that they've investigated that they withheld this from, that she's going to deny this conduct. The only witness that could testify to what she was told is Russo Bennett. And it's limited to the issues that are present in this evidentiary hearing, not the trial itself. There's been no motion to disqualify her. In the case that they cited in a Petrie, there was multiple, there's other considerations. It's not just, is there another person that can testify? There's no one that can testify to what she wrote in the emails to us. There's no one that can testify.
Let me just stop you there. Why is what Attorney Russo Bennett wrote to you in the email, isn't the issue whether or not there was a policy?
No.
What is the issue then?
Whether or not they were destroyed and why they destroyed them.
Well, there's no dispute that they were destroyed, is there?
According to Ms. Bennett in the hallway when we discussed it with her, she said that's not exactly what she said. She said she did it on one case. I don't know if she did it on the other cases. So now it's because what do you mean you don't know? You sent us an email that said that they had a policy.
So
she also,
let me,
yeah.
There's now a dispute as to what was said in a conversation between you and Ms. Russo Bennett?
No, between what she sent us and evidently what was said to Ms. Russo Bennett and Lowry, and what's been conveyed to us. The only person we've ever spoke to is Russo Bennett on that. And she's now trying to qualify what was actually written to us, saying it doesn't mean what it says. She's only sent me one email on this.
Okay, I cannot understand from you what the essential piece of information is that Ms. Russo Bennett has that needs to come up from her.
What Lowry told her.
Sir, can you let me finish my question?
Sorry,
this is, as you know, we record these. We have to create transcripts. Why is what Lowry told her relevant to the decision that I have to make about whether or not there was a Brady violation?
Because that's the only information we have. I don't know.
That doesn't answer my question.
What do you mean? Well, Your Honor, the Brady violation is based upon what was disclosed to us by Russo Bennett.
Okay. Judge is mulling that one over. I think Miss Bennett's is.
How is it based on what was disclosed to you by Ms. Russo Bennett? So I'll just tell you, the way I see this is that the Ypsilanti Police Department either had a policy that they recorded and then destroyed interviews of victims, or they didn't have a policy.
There was no such policy.
And what evidence of that is there?
Ms. Russo Bennett sent an email.
Ms. Bennett's been thrown under the bus here. She's going to get her turn to speak, and I'm guessing it's going to be spicy.
To Bill Amadeo. She didn't send it to me. It's after the one she sent on September 5th. And she says that she was told that it expands on what she said to me in the email. And it says something to the effect that that's the way she was trained. There was no actual written policy on that. So we know there's no policy. But that again comes from the conversation that evidently only Ms. Russo Bennett and Lowry had. It's a November 1st email. Lowry took over. This is from Ms. Bennett, Russo Bennett, to Bill Amadeo on November 1st of this year. Lowry took over the Detective Bureau on October 22nd. She advised her detectives that they were to retain all digital evidence going forward. There is no written policy, and she indicates that they don't take part in writing policy. The first part of this says there's no written policy. Lowry says this is how Annette Kopic trained her to do in the Detective Bureau when Kopic was her supervisor regarding policy.
The judge is hesitant to allow this line of
questioning.
So is Miss Bennett the one they want to call as a witness?
Well, Your Honor, the only disclosures that we have come from Russo Bennett. I have one from September 5th that she sent me. That was the 2023 one. There was subsequent emails, but
what are the disclosures?
Hi, Bill and Doug. Bill, I believe you've asked Detective Lowry about whether she had any recorded interviews of the victims on this case. In talking to her about this, Detective Lowry clarified to me that they don't have any recordings of the victims. But per Kopic's policy at the time, when she was heading up the Detective Bureau. The victims are recorded for note-taking purposes to write the reports. Afterwards, the recordings themselves are not retained. Detective Lowry states that since she has taken over the Bureau, she has changed the policy and now retains victims' interviews. But she does not have recordings of victims and interviews here in our case. I want to make sure I pass that information along. What's going to happen and why Russo Bennett is important in this case is we believe that Lowry, when she testifies, will not testify to that. And if that's the case, the only person to destroying the interviews. Because we have sworn testimony in the Bujaki case in which she denied ever doing that. She said there was no policy to record interviews, so they never did it.
So it's impeachment.
The two can't be rectified. Either she's going to come in and admit that she committed perjury in the Bujaki case, or she's going to say she's been destroying evidence in cases all along. And the only way to impeach her or to make sure that the testimony is consistent is to have AAG Russo Bennett as a witness in this case. If we're not disqualifying or moving to disqualify her from the trial in chief, this is an evidentiary issue. This is not a trial issue.
All right, Mr. Amadeo, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, sure, and I'll be brief. When I got the email from Danielle Russo Bennett on September 5th, I was somewhat shocked because we've been told all along that these are.
Okay, Mr. Amadeo, I appreciate that you were shocked, but I am going to make my decision here today based on the facts and the law. So I would like to stay tightly focused on those two things.
So with that being said, Judge, and I'm going to be concise, the only two people we could question about Ypsilanti police policy is Annette Kopic and Jessica Lowry. Annette Kopic has evaded service, even with the help of the Attorney General. With that being said, the only information we got that the Ypsilanti Police Department systematically destroyed evidence comes from the email of Danielle Russo Bennett. If Jessica Lowry were to take the stand and deny what Russo Bennett's got in that email, we could be stuck with her answer and she can, in essence, perjure herself. We got to go through other things. We have other evidence to impeach her with. The information between Russo Bennett and Lowry only comes from those two. We need Russo Bennett sequestered. And in essence, Russo Bennett could almost be a rebuttal witness if Lowry is to lie on the stand. This case has been going on 4 years, Judge. It's critical that we have the opportunity to question Russo Bennett with the email because Lowry would not talk to us and Kopic cannot be found. For those reasons, Judge, in the most simplistic manner, Russo Bennett should be a witness. That's all I have to say on that issue, Judge.
Ms. Wilson, do you care for rebuttal?
Just very, very briefly, Your Honor. And I think your questions to Brother Counsel picked up on this. The question is, what was the policy of the Ypsilanti Police Department, whether or not it was followed about these videos? Ms. Russo Bennett does not have personal knowledge of those policies or what happened. The first two prosecutors they cited, one was Mr. Velez from Washtenaw County, as well as Jackson County. So again, those are matters that the Ypsilanti Police Department can testify to, not Ms. Russo Bennett. So I think, Your Honor, we would just respectfully request that you quash this subpoena.
And now see if the judge rules from the bench. It seems far from the facts of the case. And if there's a way he can quash this for that reason because it's not relevant, I think he will. But man, Miss Bennett has things to say, but no voice in this hearing. She's with the AG's office. Judges weighing the facts.
So the issue in this hearing is I suppose what the policy of the Ypsilanti Police Department was with respect to recording and destroying recordings or destroying recordings of interviews with victims at the time that these events occurred, and also what Detective Lowry's understanding of that was, whether it be a policy or training or whatever the correct word is for it. Detective Lowry is going to testify about that tomorrow. There is potential for defense counsel to impeach or want to impeach Detective Lowry, depending upon what she testifies to. Obviously, none of us can know what that will be at the moment. It does appear from what the defense has presented that Attorney Russo Bennett may have information regarding an admission of what Detective Lowry said with respect to that training or policy that could, depending upon what Detective Lowry says during the hearing, be valuable impeachment evidence. And it also appears that Attorney Russo Bennett is the only person that would have information about that admission. So the way the court will intend to proceed tomorrow is to have the parties call Detective Lowry as the first witness, and during that testimony, Attorney Russo Bennett will be sequestered so that the court can understand whether that testimony will be necessary during the continuation of the hearing.
She pulled out her phone.
If it is, then I think that Attorney Russo Bennett would need to testify with respect to what Detective Lowry told her, because it is, as I said, potential impeachment testimony. If she testifies consistent with what she told Attorney Russo Bennett, then it wouldn't appear to me that her testimony would be necessary. But either way, I think we can resolve that as efficiently as possible by calling Detective Lowry first, having Attorney Russo Bennett sequestered during that testimony, and then proceeding from there in an appropriate fashion, depending upon the testimony of Detective Lowry. So is going to be the court's order, and that's how I'm going to be handling it tomorrow.
Wow.
Your Honor, one procedural question for tomorrow. There's 3 cases tomorrow. Hernandez and McWilliams are joined together. Durbin is a separate case. Ms. Palpapu is the Attorney General on that case. Ms. Russo Bennett is not involved in that case. Are you going to do a combined one hearing for all 3, or do you want to do Durbin first? If the issue is resolved when Lowry testifies in Durbin, then there is no issue in the second case. I should have said that earlier. But if we're going to do them all together, Your Honor's ruling makes perfect sense.
Suppose I assume that we would be doing them all together. Is there any reason that we would not do them all together?
Judge, may I speak?
I guess at this point you're represented by Ms. Wilson, and if Ms. Wilson is comfortable with that, then that's fine with me.
Yes, Judge, I think I'm only on this after this issue, so I think Ms. Russo Bennett can fill the court in.
She's going to talk. She's going to talk.
And Danielle Russo Bennett on behalf of the people. Just as to this was always a combined hearing. This was always a combined hearing as far as Mr. Durbin. I'm not on the Durbin case, but as far as Mr. Durbin, because that's Mr. Amadeo's case. And so this was always supposed to be a combined evidentiary hearing. And in fact, when this was set in Washtenaw County a year ago, this was supposed to be a combined hearing. So I don't know why we would split it up at this point. But I also do have a pretty procedural question of my own. And that is, Alex Peterson is my second chair. This is my case. Who is conducting Mr. Thomas Hernandez and Mr. D'Angelo McWilliams's cross-examination of the witness tomorrow, I was prepared to do that since this is my case. And I'm sure it's not going to come as a shock that to Mr. Amadeo and Mr. Gucher that I was well and prepared to do this hearing tomorrow now that they are sequestering me out. So my hope is that Ms. Wilson will be speaking to her superiors, Mr. Pallas, about an appeal of this, because this certainly causes quite an issue with the prosecution of our case tomorrow, because I was prepared to go forward tomorrow, not Ms. Peterson. She was not prepared to question the witness. I was questioning the witness tomorrow. So this is really,
she was only sequestered for Lowry's
truly
testimony.
Unfair to the people.
And Your Honor, that was going to be my next question as to whether or not this court would be willing to entertain a brief adjournment of tomorrow's hearing. That the subpoena to Ms. Russo Bennett, it was served on her less than 2 weeks ago. We promptly filed a motion to quash. She was the person who was prepared all along to conduct this hearing, not AAG Peterson. So I would like to talk to Mr. Pallas about the potential for appealing this decision. But in the alternative, Ms. Peterson needs time to prepare if we're learning today that she's going to be conducting the examination of Officer Detective Lowry.
And I say I hate even asking for it, Judge, because I hate doing this to the victims. It's been such a long delay, but it's truly not a position that I want to put Ms. Peterson in. And if the supervisors decide this is an appeal we need to take, because I think this sets a horrible precedent for prosecutors everywhere around the state, then I want to take this option. I don't want to ask for the adjournment, but I think Ms. Wilson is absolutely correct in that we either need time to decide on an appeal, or Ms. Peterson has got to get prepared to be able to question the witness, because she's not prepared to do that tomorrow. That was on me for tomorrow.
And Your Honor, if I may just briefly respond to that.
Okay, hang on. This is chess.
Thank you, Judge. As far as Ms. Wilson and Ms. Russo Bennett claiming that they got the subpoena 2 weeks ago, I've been begging for this conversation for months. So this is not a shock to the people. That's number one. I do take issue who the real victims are in this case. I'll leave my opinion on myself right now. With that being stated, Judge, we have asked the people constantly for a meeting with the court before it came to this. There's no other way than to say that Ms. Russo Bennett could be a potential rebuttal witness and for impeachment purposes. No matter how unfair the people think it is, this is unfair. This case is going on 4 years with discovery that's been destroyed. So I think the ruling's correct. We are prepared to go tomorrow. Thank you.
Judge, a month ago, Mr. Amadeo.
Wait, Ms. Russo Bennett, please stop. Mr. Gucci.
Oh, I had an email. I discussed this with Ms. Bennett in the hallway before the last judge recused herself. But that aside, we have an actual email from September the 1st, Mr. Amadeo sent to Ms. Russo Bennett saying, do you want to discuss you being a witness in this case? And her response was, contact the court next week and we can do a conference call. Papapu said, I'm not available next week, and they did nothing. We didn't have to subpoena them. That came from a conversation Mr. Amadeo and I had a couple weeks ago, and I said, I don't want to get there the morning of, and all of a sudden Ms. Bennett said, I had no idea this was going to be an issue. Bill said, I think I'll just send over a subpoena and we'll prime the pump for this. That's how this came to a head when it did. I have the email with me, if the court would like to see it, from September, where we actually put it in writing. Ms. Bennett, we'd like to discuss you being a witness in this case.
That means they knew about it. They shouldn't get in a continuance.
As for their request for an adjournment, at this stage, I'll leave it to the court's discretion. This case has been adjourned a number of times. We've whittled down the witness list to try to make it the most efficient as possible. I think we had planned on calling Lowry and Bennett as the two witnesses tomorrow and do the rest through court records.
And Judge, while I'm prepared to go tomorrow, if you feel an adjournment's best, I have no issue with that. I just want the court to know we've been ready for a while. We are prepared for this hearing, but if the court feels an adjournment's appropriate, I won't battle that at all or challenge you, Your Honor.
All right. I believe there is good cause for an adjournment. First, because this issue was not resolved until today. I appreciate the fact that people may have discussed it or tried to discuss it previously, but it did not come to a head until this afternoon. The second reason I believe that there's good cause for an adjournment is because I do believe that people should have an opportunity to consider an appeal of the decision if that's what they want to do. Once we have the hearing tomorrow, we can't go back. And so I think for that reason that there is good cause in the form of giving the opportunity to people to request an appeal. So I'm going to grant that adjournment.
For how long? Okay, I don't know the facts of the
Do
case.
Do you want to try to schedule the new
as
date
far as what
now,
the charges are?
Or would that be better done in an email chain with my assistant?
I'm missing two of my colleagues, so it probably is best, Judge, with an email chain, just so everyone can check their calendars for me.
I agree that the email chain would probably be more appropriate, so I could look at my trial docket and make sure it works for the court and the people.
Okay, I will leave it to the attorneys then to get in contact with Francis and reschedule a date.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Bennett, September 12th was the email. I misspoke and said the 1st. If you're looking for the email.
Okay, thank you.
All right, is there anything else that we need to address today?
No, Judge, thank you.
Okay, let me explain what just happened there.
All right, thank you. Then you can all go ahead and log out those of you who are Zoom.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got a screenshot here. We're going to leave this up on the screen for just a second. It appears that Mr. Amadeo at the bottom and the guy who's in court, the attorney that's in court, are sort of on the same side or representing defendants in this case. And then the lady in the bottom left and the lady in the top right corner are Assistant Attorney General's office, prosecutors. Don't know the facts of the case, don't know the charges, but there are potential victims in this case that were interviewed, and the interview of those victims and the existence of the recording of that interview is the reason they're coming together. These defense attorneys were told all along there never were any recordings, and now through a conversation that Miss Russo Bennett was involved in, or shared information about with, she talked to Mr. Detective Lowery, it comes out that there were recordings, but they deleted them. This becomes a discovery issue. It's a problem. I don't know how big it is in this particular case, but the reason this hearing is being held is because the lady in pink, the top right corner, Miss Bennett's, as a prosecutor in this case, is being called as a witness, and you can't have that. You can't have a prosecutor also a witness. It basically takes the prosecution off the case right before trial. So they're saying, they're fighting this, saying it's a big issue, just so they can get her as a witness. If she's a witness, then she's sequestered. She can't listen to other witnesses' testimony. She can't be there. She obviously can't prosecute and question witnesses directly. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to remove her from the case. It's a dirty trick, but it's one they seem to possibly be winning, depending on how the event spills out. The last little wrench in the works that Miss Bennett's brought up was, she's like, okay, I understand, Judge. You call me as a witness. You call Detective Lowery as a witness. Get Lowery on the stand first. Have me go out of the room and interview him. The only problem is I am the prosecutor who would be interviewing Lowery. Now what? I was the one who would be questioning him. And so now they have to get somebody else spun up on the case. They'll get another date. They'll have somebody else who questions Lowery. Lowery will be questioned on the stand about this conversation that he had with Miss Bennett. Miss Bennett can't hear what he says. And then Miss Bennett comes in and gets questioned. If their story doesn't match up, we have a problem. If the story matches up, everything's good. So it's fun to see. It's fun to see a little bit of spice in court like that. Good stuff. Hey, Mrs. R.A., how are you doing? You're doing moderately okay. All right. Thank you, Josh, for finding that for us as well. I just used some Lowry seasoned salt. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. right. I think that takes us pretty much to the end of day. It's only 3:45. Let me see if anybody else is still going in court. We are starting a new case on Friday. Sherbrooke said, "Ooh, we do have somebody."
So I'm going to give you 14 days to have this paid. If in that 14 days you file an appeal, I'm going to require a $261 cash appeal bond. Now, if you need a little more time to pay than 14 days, I can give you that as well. But can you get that paid in 14 days, do you think? Pay your appeal in 14 days?
No, ma'am.
All right. 30 days, 60 days, how much time do you need?
So I can appeal this?
You have to appeal there on a legal ground. If you don't get a new trial all over. But if you have legal grounds, you can assert those to the Court of Appeals, and there are steps you have to go through. And so you might need to talk to an attorney because they're not exactly the simplest rules, but you can appeal it to the Court of Appeals.
Can I ask one additional question, Judge? Judge, I know I used those words, mercy and grace. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that the state, sir, you guys would accept that could get me in this? I think I did some research. I know about the diversion if you're over a certain amount, but is there any amendment that could get me in the diversion on this?
That would have been something that you'd had to have checked into before trial. It would have to be with the county attorney. I wouldn't have the authority to amend it. So at this point, I can't do anything else.
So just go through the court of. I can just try to go through the Court of Appeal.
If you wish, and if you have grounds to, go for it.
Yes, ma'am.
But how much time do you need to pay this?
3 months.
Why do I have Spanish subtitles?
Well, when can you make your first payment of $80? Can you pay anything at all today?
No hay.
I think so.
No hay, Senor Perez.
All right. What can you pay today, do you think?
$40.
All right, pay $40 today.
Does that go towards the appeal?
That'll go towards the fine. Pay $40 today. Now, if you win the appeal, you'll get it back. $40. I'm going to order that you pay $40 on your fine and costs on your way out, and then I'm going to order that you pay the balance within 90 days. And
all right.
If you file an appeal, you'll have to pay an appeal bond of $261 cash.
It says Chihuahua in there. I don't know who's doing that.
I don't know what the protocol is for appeal. I guess I got to find out what the protocol is for appeal to try to appeal this.
All right.
All right.
Anything further, Mr. Regier?
Nothing for purposes of the legal proceedings here today, although the state will respectfully thank Trooper Collins for his appearance here this afternoon.
Thank you for Collins for honoring your appeal, and thank you, Mr. Hill, for honoring your choice to be here as well. So thank you both, and you are both excused at this time. Make sure you stop by the clerk's office, though.
He gone. Cale Collins, Officer Collins, checks in from the road on the side of the road.
Mr. Patterson, are you ready? We took up Sparrow. Let's see. Mr. Patterson, are you ready on Sparrow?
Yes, Your Honor.
That linear lens.
We'll be on the record now in 2024 TR 1213, State of Kansas versus Lucy Taylor Sparrow. Please announce appearances.
Jared Regier on behalf of the state.
Your Honor, Darren Patterson appear on behalf of Lucy Sparrow. Ms. Sparrow does appear via Zoom audio-visual.
We are set today for bench trial on speeding 101 in a 75-mile-per-hour zone and operating a motor vehicle without a valid license.
101.
Mr. Patterson, does your client still wish her trial?
There is an amended information.
Oh, there is. Well, let me take a look at that.
This is a trial. We get a trial, guys. It's a bench trial right here. It's happening right now.
I see there was one filed June 17th of 2024.
101 and 75 with no license. Well, you don't want to get caught. You got to go fast.
Let's see. Okay. Count 2, no valid driver's license was dismissed June 17th of 24. So is your client ready to proceed on the one count of speeding 101 miles per hour in a 75 mile per hour zone?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's really fast.
All right. And are you ready to proceed, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, if I may briefly request a moment of the court's time.
Very well.
Your Honor, it is the state's understanding that new information has been provided by my office to the defense quite literally just prior to today's docket. At this juncture, the state is prepared to dismiss this case without prejudice.
Whoa!
Well, I'm sure there's no objection to that, Mr. Patterson.
No objection, Your Honor.
Somebody just drew the get out of jail free card.
Now dismissed both count 1, speeding 101 and the 75, as well as the driving without a license. So you're excused at this time and no longer under bond or commitment to the court.
And Your Honor,
oops, wait a minute. No longer under bond. Did she ever go out and get processed? She still has to process even if the charges are dismissed, so her record will remain clean and will be in compliance. Okay, I don't think she did.
Your Honor, I'm reviewing my notes, and in accordance with my duty of candor as an officer of the court, it does not appear that the court ever entered orders concerning booking in this matter. It does look like the amended information was filed on June 17th of this year, and it would appear that the first hearing in this matter did not happen until subsequently on July 10th. So I'm not sure what the court wants to do with that.
I'm required to order that she get booked and processed on that B misdemeanor, even if the state dismissed it, and I am so ordering at this time. So, Mr. Patterson, your client will need to meet with Court Security 3 to get that done, so that her record will reflect that those charges were dismissed.
Judge, if we could do a breakout room and Court Security 3, we can take care of that if that's all right with the court.
All right, thank you. Court Security, Missy, if you'd please put Court Security 3, Ms. Sparrow and Mr. Patterson in a breakout room.
And Your Honor, if the court is successfully finding that the case is dismissed without prejudice at this juncture, the state would take an opportunity to personally thank Trooper Cartwright for his appearance here this afternoon.
Yes, Trooper Cartwright. I won't sign the order of dismissal until she's gone through the processing, though.
The trooper.
Very good, Your Honor.
Did the hard work of catching somebody doing 101 and a 75. And then through some secret, we don't know why, they decided to drop the charges.
I noticed that Master Trooper, okay, let's see. And Trooper Cartwright, if you're not here on any other case, you will be excused, or you're welcome to stay either way. And Trooper Grunder is here now, so are we ready to take up the Davis case again?
Yes, Your Honor.
We are on the record in 2024 TR 1815, State of Kansas versus, is it Gerard? How do you pronounce your first name, sir? Where's the defendant? He was here earlier. Oh, he's in Court Security. We have to wait for Court Security.
Troopers coming to you live from the cruiser. Kilo 504.
Dispatch, this is Kilo 504. Can you put me down as in court for the next 20 or 30?
When did we move Ali Ahmed Al-Freya to February?
Let's check and see.
Okay.
And this is for who?
Ali Ahmed Al-Freya. It's ALFRAIH 23 TR 321, speeding at 112 in a 75.
Whoa! What's with you Kansanians?
I'm not saying I didn't approve it.
So it was BU 2023 TR. What's the last number?
3321.
Thank you.
What is the giggity, let's go racing? Something like that? The Indy 500s in Kansas? I thought it was in Indy. 112.
Thing in the docket notes to suggest a continuance. Let's check the documents.
Boogity boogity. Oh, giggity giggity is different, huh? Boogity boogity boogity, boys. Let's go racing. Something like that.
We did sign a motion in order for continuance
Maybe
filed by
somebody
Mr.
stole the
Regier.
signs. Yes. What's the excuse? My floor mat bunched up.
Mr. Regier, why
Coughing
don't we
fit? Do you
continue
think
then?
coughing fit will work?
Your Honor, it was the prior to this afternoon saying it was brought to my attention that the state's witness would be unavailable to testify. It is the state's understanding that this is the first requested continuance by the state in this matter, and indeed the first continuance from a bench trial setting. So that is the basis of the state's request.
All right.
Breezy.
There's no indication.
At
defendant
112,
objected,
it's
so-
only 15 minutes
Very
from your
well. I
home.
was just surprised to see that because I had not recalled it. Thank you for checking into that, Stacy. I think I kind of figured it out, but I appreciate the time you took to look it up.
No worries.
Okay.
Trooper Kilo 504, you can go back to speed traps or whatever it was you were doing.
Okay, so we've done Jacqueline Farrow. We've done Patrick Hill, Lucy Sparrow. So that just leaves us with Davis and Phillips. Is that what you're showing, Stacy?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you're showing, Mr. Regier?
I believe so, Your Honor. If the I'm looking at the motion in order for continuance in 23 TR 3321 signed by Your Honor, it does appear to refer to a new date of February 12th, 2025. If the court is satisfied in that regard, I am prepared to proceed on the Davis matter.
Well, we still need to get Davis from Court Security 3, and I think he aren't they tied up with someone else, Mr. Patterson and his client? Miss Sparrow, Mr. Patterson?
Whoa.
Missy, is there anything you can do to get Court Security back here? They surely have set a date by now.
Tammy in Kansas.
I'm sorry?
I said I can try to bring them back to the main session.
But Tammy,
Would you? Because like I said, they should have set that by now and we need to move on.
Somebody just sent me.
Your
update.
Honor,
I don't know
on
who
the
this
Davis
is.
case, were you able to see? I never received a subpoena on this. That's why I wasn't here at
Earlier?
1:30.
Okay. Let me check that for you.
Because I've checked my emails. Normally, I get all my subpoenas by emails, and I have nothing for this case.
I see nothing in the file for you. I see no subpoenas. I'm not seeing them filed or served. Mr. Regier, do you show anything filed or served?
One moment, Your
Nothing
Honor.
officially in the court file on it.
I will need an opportunity to review the file, Your Honor.
Well, before you do that, let's pick up where we were. Let's see. Mr. Patterson, is there a problem with setting Miss Sparrow?
Judge, there are some issues that came up, but I am wanting to take about 10 minutes, do some review of some statutes and case law. And if the court had other things to take up, I will be ready when the court's done with those.
Well, Mr. Patterson, I presume you're trying to find justification to disobey the order?
Well, Judge, I would never disobey an order, but there
But
are.
you're trying to find justification to
Sometimes I
circumvent
might.
it?
sometimes I may ask a court to reverse an order based upon,
All right.
on statutes.
And that's fair, but double check the statute, even if it says that I have to, does it say I can't?
And that's what I would like the 10 minutes for, Judge.
Very well. All right. Well, I need court security back. So we will, as far as I'm through, as far as I'm concerned, the Sparrow case is adjourned. But if you need to ask me to open it again, I will do so.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. And let's see, court security, do you have Mr. Davis with you still?
Yes, I do.
Okay. We are going to bring him in now, if you would, please.
It's looking like
Master
Tucker
Trooper Grunder, thank you for coming voluntarily
down in
without
Key
our
West
subpoena.
might be taking a plea.
You're welcome, Judge. I'm just glad they could get a hold of me.
Yes,
The end of
you
the
weren't
month.
somewhere far away on vacation or days off.
Thank you,
Okay,
Heather, for
sir,
that
we are
update.
back on the record in 2024 TR 1815, State of Kansas versus, again, tell me, sir, how to pronounce your first name.
Gerard.
Gerard?
Gerard is right.
Okay, Gerard Rufus Davis and Jared Regier for the state, and Mr. Davis appearing in person. We now have with us Master Trooper Brian Grunder, who appears as a witness, and
Master
I
Trooper?
think we're ready to proceed, unless one of you tell me otherwise. Mr. Regier, are you still ready to proceed now that you have your witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Davis, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anyone have any opening statement as to what the evidence will show?
Your Honor, the state would waive opening statements at this time.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, I would like to say that I do
Now,
have
this
evidence.
isn't your time to argue. It's just to tell me what you think the evidence will show or prove.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I think the evidence I have today will prove that I wasn't in the wrong when I was driving. You know, I mean,
Okay.
I definitely was on restriction, but I definitely had
All right.
reason to be driving.
Okay. I understand what you're telling me the evidence will show, that you weren't violating restrictions. So, Mr. Regier, you may call your first witness.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Master Trooper Brian Grunder to the stand.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
He smacked me with his hand.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you please state your name for the record?
Master Trooper Brian R. Grunder.
Okay. And where are you employed?
Kansas Highway Patrol.
Okay. And is Master Trooper your professional title in that capacity?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you worked as an officer?
I've been employed with the Highway Patrol for almost 20 years, and I was a deputy sheriff for approximately 2.5 years prior to that.
Been in a lot of chases, I imagine.
So overall, between 22 and 23 years?
Yes.
Okay. Were you on active duty in your professional capacity on July 7th, 2024 at approximately 3:09 p.m.?
Yes.
And where were you at that time?
I was just west of Andover Road on 54 Highway, in between Andover Road and 159th Street.
Okay. And is that in Butler County?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And were you in a vehicle or on foot at the time?
I was in a patrol vehicle.
Okay. And when you said you were when you were just west of Andover Road, was your vehicle moving or stationary at that point?
I believe we were moving.
Okay. So talking about the area that you were at the time, just west of Andover Road, is this still within Andover city limits?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Would you describe US 400, I believe you said, at this location as curving or a straight shot?
It's a straight roadway.
Okay. Are there any trees nearby at this area?
Yes.
How far off would you say these trees are from US 400?
30 feet or so off the edge of the roadway, I'd guess.
Okay.
Were you hiding
are
behind
there
the
any
trees?
private residences in this area?
Yes.
How many would you say?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it safe to say, though, that this is an area in which families might reside?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall if there are any commercial buildings nearby?
Yes.
And do you know what some of these businesses are?
Heating and cooling and
Dunkin' Donuts.
Storage. And I'm not for sure of the others.
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, did any of these aspects of the location impair your field of vision on the date and time in question?
No.
Okay. Trooper, are you familiar with KSA 8291?
Yes.
Okay.
That sounded like a no.
Trooper, do you know what kind of
Yes.
driving addressed in KSA 8291 and what it might prohibit?
I believe it's the restrictions on the driver's license. I mean, it's not super fresh in my mind, and I haven't looked at it in a while, but I do believe it's restrictions on the license placed by the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, the state would respectfully request the court take judicial notice of KSA 8291.
The court does take judicial notice of 8291, violation of restrictions on driver's license or permit.
Thank you, Your Honor. Master Trooper Grunder, do you consider yourself capable of identifying traffic violations when you see them?
Yes.
Besides your 22 to 23 years of experience, do you have any other past experiences or special training that allows you to identify traffic violations on site?
I mean, just general knowledge of the traffic laws and continuing education through training and stuff like that.
Okay. And this continuing education, what does that typically involve in your experience?
Well, I mean, it covers everything from constitutional law to mental health, truck, commercial motor vehicle enforcement, all sorts of different realms.
Okay. And these continuing education requirements, in your professional capacity, are you required to complete those annually?
Yes.
How much are you required to complete annually?
40 hours.
40 hours.
Bingo.
Okay. And are you presently current on your continuing education requirements?
Yes.
Okay. On July 7th, 2024, at approximately 3:09 p.m., did you see any acts that you consider traffic violations?
Yes.
What did you see?
I was following a vehicle that was westbound. It was a maroon Ford passenger car, and it had a clear license plate cover that's in violation of 8-15, 110, covering of the rear license plate.
Okay. Is your testimony today that what initially drew your attention to this maroon Ford was the license plate cover?
Yes.
Okay. And what is it about this particular license plate that, in your experience, you would consider a violation of the law?
Well, there's a plastic cover over the license plate, which makes it illegal.
Okay. What happened after you saw the Ford being driven with this particular license plate cover?
I stopped said vehicle, as I stated, just west of Andover Road on 54 Highway, and made contact with the driver.
Okay. And this stop, to the best of your knowledge, were you still in Butler County when you successfully conducted this stop?
Yes, it was still in Butler County.
Okay. Once you conducted the stop, did you personally speak to the driver of the Ford?
Yes.
Do you see the driver of the Ford present in this Zoom conference?
Yes.
Can you point the driver out and give a brief description for the court?
He's on the court security camera. He's wearing a plaid coat, looks like a cream or off-white colored shirt with a silver necklace.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
Record shall so reflect.
Master Trooper, did the defendant ever provide you with any official identification at the time of the stop?
Yes, he provided me with a Kansas identification card.
Okay. Did you ever determine the status of the defendant's driving privileges?
Yes, it showed he had an administrative restriction.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I respectfully request leave of the court to share my screen.
Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If this is going to have confidential information about the defendant's identity, we can either do that
And Your Honor,
in chambers. Oh, well, on the record, but in chambers.
And Your Honor, the state does intend at this time to introduce the certified driving record. As the court is aware, that may contain certain pieces of information, and this is a broadcast over YouTube, so I'm not sure how the court wants to proceed on that.
We will proceed on the record, but off of the YouTube. Missy, that should provide the confidentiality we're looking for, shouldn't it?
Yes, it will.
Although, frankly, if this were an open courtroom, it would be subject to.
And there we go. She gone. She gone. We don't get to hear what happened. I wanted to hear what his reason was for driving. Plastic plate covers make camera enforcement difficult. Yes, that's why they banned them. No sign update. I was waiting for the story, the guy who wrote the story, to call me. Or we could call the other dude who wrote the story. The other guy was Andrew. Who's this dude? Andrew Colgrove. Journalist at WSAZ. He's from West Virginia. All right, we might have to jump back over into Judge Cedric Simpson's court, where we've got a donut thief. Is that what I'm hearing, Josh? A donut thief? Let's see who's stealing donuts here. Judge Cedric Simpson. Okay, hold tight here. Let's see. 26-minute mark. That's before our road sign theft. We're backing it up.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Williams. Thank you.
All right. Court does call the case. People versus Tyson Westlake.
Tyson. Is this the guy?
You're on behalf of Westlake.
Scott Westlake, Your Honor. Go ahead.
Your Honor, I have reviewed the pre-sentence report with Mr. Westlake, and we have no additions or corrections. Ultimately asking the court to adopt the recommendation with a minor change to recommendation 1.
How minor?
And I'd like to address that at the appropriate
There are only
time.
2 lines, and you want to change. Go ahead, Drucas.
Thank you, Your Honor. There was a co-defendant in this matter. This was basically regarding some donuts that were stolen.
Why does he look at the bailiff?
Yeah.
Why does he look at the bailiff?
This is a donut guy. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Similar to Ron Brown, I like donuts as well. They go good with your coffee.
It's just Mr. Brown?
Yep.
Oh, really? Okay. Guys are donut guys. All right.
So ultimately, in that matter, there was a reduction of fines and costs to $250.
It's an expensive
I'm asking
donut.
for
Because of the price of the donut.
Well, the price of the donuts were $4.68.
But it's still like half a dozen?
How many donuts were there?
That was it was a bag of donuts.
It was a bag of donuts, I know. They weren't go donuts.
They were cheap donuts, Your Honor. They were not Dunkin' Donuts. They were not.
They call them cheap donuts.
What, Little Debbie's? Donuts?
They were not. They were good, but they were not.
How do you know? Did you have some? Go ahead, don't say anything, because that'd be a whole thing. Go ahead.
So with regard to that, I mean, Mr. Westlake is in a much better position than he was. And he would like to follow through. He has $50 for a payment today that potentially with a reduction would allow him to pay the remaining amount within 60 days.
He has 50 today?
50 today, Your Honor.
But you want a reduction?
I would like a reduction from what's listed in number 1.
I think they were powdered.
So they were powdered.
They were powdered. I know. They were powdered. So that's more expensive. Go ahead. All right. Sir, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
I just I'd like to just thank the for the second chance. Better place in our life right now. So.
All right. Listen, there's a bag of donuts and they only cost $5. Don't get them.
Big lesson learned.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Very expensive.
Fines and costs. It's the sentence of the court. Fines and costs of $250. You got 50 to pay today?
Yes, John.
Pay 50 today. When can you pay the balance?
Within 60 days.
Pay it by the end of the year. All right.
Okay.
December 31st, 2024. I'll order 93 days in jail. Credit 34. Balance is suspended.
Have a great rest of your day.
Okay, hang on.
Well,
this is someone who stole a bag of donuts. What happens if somebody steals a road sign?
I bet you those weren't blueberries.
That guy just had to pay $250 and up to 90 days in jail.
Frosted donuts. Here's Mr. Goldstein. Court calls the case. People versus Kyle Stotch.
How do we turn a blind eye to someone stealing road signs that affect everybody with taxpayer money, and still hit clearly a guy who probably has a drug addiction,
not civil work anymore.
Because it's stole a bag of donuts.
It's always an interesting experience every day, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
James Bukowski appearing on behalf of Kyle Stotch, who's standing to my right. Sir, can you state your name for the record? Kyle. Your Honor, this is time and date set for sentencing. This matter depending on opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation report. My client appears to be factually accurate with no deletions, corrections, or additions. If I may briefly allocate.
Yes, you may.
All right. Your Honor, this is a little gratuitous, but I'm going to say this. In reviewing this case and in reviewing the evidence in this case, frankly, I'm a little skeptical of the complaining witness's story. As the court is probably aware, there's a scam going on out there where people claim to be hit by another vehicle. And it strikes me as very curious that the complaining witnesses claimed their car was hit, but there was no damage to the car whatsoever. That's just an observation. With regard to the incident itself, that's no excuse for the incident, what happened. My client does take responsibility. He was scared at the time of the incident. He found some crazy person chasing him for blocks and blocks and blocks, almost a mile. Again, he is taking responsibility for the incident. Perhaps he didn't react the best way. With regard to the specific recommendations in the pre-sentence investigation report, there's a recommendation for 18 months of probation. I would ask the court to consider reducing that to 12 months. And mainly, though, with regard to the recommendation with regard to fines and costs, my client works part-time at Washtenaw Community College, and he's a full-time student at Washtenaw Community College. He's married. He's 33 years old. His wife, who's been present for every court hearing in this case,
also works part-time for the college. They do not have a lot of financial resources. They've got health issues. They're unable to afford health insurance. If the court could give some
part-time there?
Yeah, they work part-time at both work part-time for the college. With regard to the fines and costs, the court could grant some leeway with regard to those. That would be greatly appreciated, Your Honor. Other than that, my client is remorseful over the incident, and we ask the court to adopt the remainder recommendations.
Sir, anything you want to tell me?
No, I think.
What are you studying to be when you grow up?
An auto technician, Your Honor. Master mechanic, really. If I
thought he was going to say unicorn.
Shooting high.
Well, I think you're in a great program over there. I have great affiliation for Washington. So,
thank you, Your Honor. It is a great program. I enjoy it a lot. I actually enjoy my work very much for one of the first times in my life.
Good place to work.
It's a great place to work.
Good people. Anything else you want to say, sir?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
On count 2.
Lots of people in court today.
I will place him on 18 months probation, but the court will strongly consider a release halfway through upon this petition. I'll order $455 fines and court costs. I'll apply the $450 bond to that. That was a $500 bond. You've taken the administrative fee.
I did.
All right. So we'll apply $450. $540 probation oversight fees. When do you think you can get that paid along with the other ones that are listed?
He says before the end of the year, Your Honor.
I'm clicking my pen.
You think you can do that?
I think I can, yes.
All right. So I'll just put by December 31st,
Even when I look
2024.
like I'm vaping, it's the remote for my
There's to be
Apple
no use of
TV.
alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete a gun safety class as directed by probation. You are to do 50 hours of community service with proof to probation. You are not to possess
solved
any
the crime
weapons,
today,
firearms,
Michelle.
ammunition, or anything fashioned to be a weapon. The Smith & Wesson .45 caliber will be forfeited.
He loses
I'll
his
order 90 days in
45.
jail. That is suspended. On the failure to stop after a collision, I will also place you on 18 months probation. Taking into account, and I'm aware of what your counsel has indicated, I'm going to order fines and cost on that of $250. Only, can you get that paid by the end of the year?
Yes.
All right. That is also to be paid by December 31st, 2024. Comply with all terms as set forth in count 2 that I just enunciated the sentence. I'll order 90 days in jail that is suspended. On count 5, the aiming without malice, 18 months probation. Also on that one, I will cut the fine to $250.
So this
That
guy was
is
in a car
also to be
accident.
paid by December 31st, 2024.
Drove away and then drew down on the
You
guy who
comply with
followed
all
him.
terms as set forth in count 2 as indicated. I'll order 93 days in jail. That is suspended. Thank you.
Can I approach?
Yes, sir.
All right. While they do that, Michelle's Mixed Media Madness. What happened today was we had a incident where I did a little sleuthing. Let me see if I can show you what it looked like. Let's see right here on MP1. We were watching Judge Cedric Simpson's court, and prior to court beginning, that down in the middle there was a defendant whose background clearly showed a Prestonburg and Paintsville road sign. I did some Googling really quickly just to figure out where Prestonville was and why people were buying road signs for that. And it turns out they weren't buying them, they were stealing them. 3 months ago, a bunch of signs, 20 signs went missing. This is the second time. A month later, there's also another story from another outlet about the same thing, talking about the danger it is that ambulances can't, or having trouble navigating and things like that. So yeah, we did the whodunit and who's got it, at least anyway. And I'm hoping that she returns the sign. But she was live in court with this sign in the background. This was her backdrop as she's in Judge Cedric Simpson's court. And we're like, really? I mean, a Kentucky sign? And said, yeah, well, guess where she lives? Kentucky. She lives in Kentucky. So That was sort of funny. Anyway, we called to the author of the article to try to let them know and decide what to do if they want to go out and say, hey, we'd like to see if you'll return the sign, because that would be a good story without involving the police. But the author didn't call us back. All right. They'll be working some OT. Man, the donuts, $250. He stole some Little Debbie's, a little bag of Little Debbie's donuts, powdered donuts. $250 fine, 34 days in jail with suspended, the balance of 90 days suspended. I wonder what the road sign fine is. Because then the state's the prosecutor. I mean, the state's prosecuting it, and it's their sign. Anyway, I love the donuts. I'm actually craving some now. Is there any diet, like caveat or asterisk, where I can eat a whole bag of Little Debbie's powdered donuts and still be, on my diet? Another burner message from, let's see. Oh, burner from Josh. I was looking at mod chat. Let me look at burner. Josh says, last one to recommend tonight is from Fleischer's Court today. Let's take a quick check and see where that happened. Finding Justice with Judge Fleischer. That's the name of his channel. Give me a second here. Timestamp is 1 hour 34.
Mr. Wiggins.
I'm hoping.
And I'm assuming we haven't heard anything because they're not here,
Keep an eye on the guy in the blue shirt.
No news on the felony. I don't see an offer on the felony.
No. Okay. What did they send it for, like, next year?
They set it for January 8th, though.
And do you mind if we reset his cases down here to the 9th?
I don't like to do 60 days just because I don't want to forget about it anymore.
Okay.
Can we do 30?
Absolutely.
And assuming nothing's happened, then we'll just do another.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then the other one I have to talk to you about is Williams, Terrell Williams.
Okay.
He's also got a felony pending upstairs, and his misdemeanors out of the same transaction.
Is he in custody or on bond?
He's in custody, and they reset.
God, it's old, man.
Well, they did a comp eval,
Okay.
and I believe he came back competent.
Have you been able to reach him?
He's in custody.
No, I know that, but have you been able to reach him?
Yes. I can't go into details, Judge, but
You want a second opinion?
let me talk to him today and see.
Okay.
He's reset on his felonies to 1217.
You know what's happening on that?
I see he has an offer.
Yes, sir. There's a 2-year TDC offer on the felony.
I can reach out to the felony attorney
Okay.
and see if we can get more detail.
Okay. I guess we'll set you up the felony on that one, but it's getting old. We can't just,
Okay, understood, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
How do we reach the person who does whatever they want to do? Therein lies the question. You got your first DWI. We told you, look, this is how you act. This is what you do. Going so much as to tell you that, every day someone dies from a DWI in our great county. Every flipping day. Let you out. Just pick up another DWI. Now we have to micromanage your life, right? Because you scare me a lot more. All I'm asking you to do is I don't want you to consume alcohol. I don't want you to drive, and I don't want you to go out in the middle of the night. I'll give you these conditions for a reason, not for shites and giggles. You know what I mean? Yes. And now, so How do we go forward?
I can promise you I was not gonna go to the meeting if I had gotten a response back before the meeting.
You've already promised me 2 times before.
This one, when I got the email back the day after I'd already gone, I told her if she had emailed me back before the meeting, I was not gonna go because I'm not playing around.
I mean, with this. But did you email the day before your meeting?
I did. Yeah, I did.
That is about just. These people are busy, and you work, and you're sending email to county employees. Do you really think someone is going to email you within a couple hours to the next day to respond to you? Do you really think that if you were to reach out to anyone here, they're going to respond to you in a timely fashion?
I get same-day responses from courts on email.
You have to consider how many thousands upon thousands of emails people here get a day. Victoria, how many emails do you get a day?
At least 100.
You're emailing pretrial services where they have about 2,000 to 4,000 people that they manage. Well, I mean, probably again 2 on a daily basis, where they're hundreds upon hundreds. So for you to think that they're actually respond to you, I don't believe you. I think that what you did was that, you know what, I'm going to send an email just so that I CYA and I'm going to go do what I want to do. That's basically what I think.
No, I don't. I'm not messing. I'm not playing with this. I am not playing around with this. I'm taking it very serious, sir. Very serious. I'm very.
There is no act and ask for forgiveness later. We don't subscribe by that theory. We don't. There's no acting like a little child begging for forgiveness later. Okay, Dad, I'm sorry. I won't. That's what my child does. My child will do stuff. Come on, bud, don't do it. Dad, I did it again. Oh, come on, I told you. When people do that to me, your sorry goes in this ear and it goes that out that ear, because I know you will continue to act the way you want to act. I don't know, Will. I'm just.
He showed me proof of the meeting. He was trying to get another job so he could work from home because he can't drive anymore. He was 48 minutes late. And in the email, I guess he thought he would get an email response within 24 hours or so. He emailed that morning. The meeting wasn't until late that night, the next day. So when I spoke with him,
I understand that it's not the most egregious error. I understand that. I get it. But a condition is a condition. And the problem is that if we let you go, what does that tell you?
I know how serious this is. I know. That's why I tried to contact.
That's the sound it makes.
The last thing that I want to do is be an enabler. The last thing I want to do is act in a way where it tells you that it's okay for you to do what you're doing without consequence. Because one of the biggest things that I like to teach here, because, in a way I think of myself like a father to everyone. I like to teach, right? And I want everybody,
Daddy Fleischer,
no matter who they are,
that's what we call him, right?
No matter what color they are, no matter what they're doing in their life, I want them to leave better. And I want to impart that you have to always think of consequence. Because 90% of the people that come here have no self-control and react without thinking of consequence. And it's a shame, because if you did, we would have such a harmonious life. I mean, we wouldn't have the death and destruction we have on our roads. We wouldn't have the killing that happens here on a daily basis. What does he have on his ankle now?
I guess
Do you have a scram and a GPS monitor?
Yes, Judge.
Hold tight. Hold tight. Hello?
Great newly added benefits like monthly $180 cash back, dental, hearing, vision, prescription coverages, and food card at absolutely no cost. So, do you have Medicare Part A and B?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, this is Mary from Med Health Center. I'm calling
Always
to let
Mary.
you know that after this recent open enrollment, if you have Medicare Part A and B, you're eligible for great newly added benefits like monthly $180 cash
She told
back,
us this already.
dental, hearing, vision, prescription coverages, and food card at absolutely no cost. So, do you have Medicare Part A and B?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just hold on a second.
This is Sean. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good. Do you have Medicare Part A and B?
I have those.
And how old are you?
I am 67.
What is your date of birth?
1945.
Go fuck yourself, son of a bitch.
Excuse me? This is why we can't have nice things. I've talked to him before. I've talked to him before. Oh, man. I got the date right. Was it? Was it the wrong year? Man, I need to write it down on paper. Probably watches the channel. You'd be 79. Oh no, I got it wrong. I didn't come here to math. Oh. Okay, we're gonna go back and finish the end of this this hearing with Judge Fleischer. Whew, no date was wrong.
Like I said, Judge, I speak with him often. He has been taking this really seriously. He calls and asks questions all the time. He just didn't call me and ask me about this one. He thought someone else was taking care of that.
This is somebody I know. Yeah.
He just made a bad mistake.
Don't do it again. If you need help, I'm willing to help you, Mr. Larumba. I routinely give people here more time if they need it. I really do. And all I want you to do is think. That's all I want. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong. We all make mistakes. We all do things that we regret. Crap, my mouth gets me into so much trouble you cannot even believe. I will continue your supervision. Just please don't. Okay? If you ever need anything else, just come back. Let us know. We can help you. If you need more time for work or whatever, don't ask for forgiveness after the fact. Just come back here first. Contrary to popular belief, we're not that bad. Really. All we want is our public to be safe. And if I know that I can count on you to help me with my public, then I'm more inclined to go with you on what you need. All right. Please don't again. All right.
I think he's going to be successful. I think he meant it.
On Labumba?
Him trying to get a job. That's
Let
why
me
he missed
check.
his meeting. That's awesome. I think the judge.
Looks like we're missing station video.
Which one?
On Labumba.
He's got two.
On the one ending in 089.
All right. With that done, we have a delivery. It's Tech Wednesday. That's why I have the pen. Should we see what we got? It's from Sweetwater. That's right. I opened it and then I checked to see if it was for me. It is. Okay, here we go. We have music. That's the podcast music. That's tomorrow. That's the podcast tomorrow. See, we have bubbles. We'll play with these later. I like these bubbles. We have, as always, Sweetwater provides a package of candy. A little package of candy with every delivery. One of the reasons why I order from them. The other reason I order from them is they also provide a 2-year warranty on all their equipment, like above and beyond. Which is good. We have a Happy Gear Day with another sticker. I'm going to add the sticker to my collection. And last but not least, we have our tech. Which is a HyperDeck Studio HD Plus professional broadcast deck that records and plays back using SD or UHS-2 cards, as well as network now because they've upgraded it. So it has all sorts of connectors on the back, and it's going to sit right over here on my desk, right here, like in place in this, instead of where this one is. Because this is also a HyperDeck. It also records, but it's got the wheel on it. This one is more of a flat rack mount unit, but it's going to be a support for this. It's going to be like chunk. It's going to sit like that. So that's going to be tomorrow. And this enables us to get back in the business of recording and watching slow motion for trials, which is important because we do have a new case coming up on Friday. So it's exciting. I sent my old one down to Florida. Well, it's not an old one. It's a new one as well, but it's a different model. It's a smaller. This one records 4K, and the other one only records 1080p. And this one also has an HDMI input, and the other one is only SDI. So this is the better one for sure. But Trial TV Live has the other one because we've got some courts down there that they're going to be tracking and following. So anyway, I will put that together tonight, and we're going to get that up and running. Does this new tech require new cables? I already have the cables for it. I'm prepared. I'm ready. It will have one more cable going in right here, and man, I love this because the cables are just so clean. I'm not sure if you can see this, but the cables are they're tiny. They're little tiny wires. Beautiful. Launch rocket button. Launch rocket button next week. It's the only thing we're missing. You should get more candy. No, I don't need more candy. I actually give most of this to the kids. Although we did get a Dad's Root Beer Barrel, a peppermint candy. Looks like a vanilla fruit chew. I'm going to take that one. And Double Bubble is in here, as well as it looks like some Laffy Taffy. So this is a good bag. Yep, Laffy Taffy. Nice. This was a win. Sometimes you get a less winning candy. Okay. I'm gonna have to. Here's what I need, Catherine. I need your help. Next time I start taking a phone call, you immediately just type in the date. Type in age and date. Day, month, year, everything. I need the whole thing. And then we'll get past this next level of the scam call so he doesn't yell at us and tell us to go procreate or whatever he said. Need a button that does a screaming goat for when the batteries die. I can record that I could record that. But there's something satisfying about just pressing on the back of a screaming goat. Doodles, I'm sorry we missed you. Hopefully you're able to join us on Friday when we have a new court case that begins Friday morning. We'll do a little more court hopping tomorrow, possibly watching for some court documents as well. We might read some stuff together, and then we'll be set for trial beginning on Friday in the Jose Ibarra case in Georgia. I missed the lovely phone send off. Yeah, you need to rewind. It was epic. He's not a fan. Not a fan. Clifton posted to Twitter. All right. Yes, he said something like this. GFYYSAOAB, something like that. And then he hung up. I wanted to have a conversation. I realized he was angry with me. He was frustrated a little bit. I was still willing to talk. Like I was cool with getting past. I could have forgiven and moved on. I've got questions about Medicare. He has answers. Clearly, we could have continued, but he'll call me back. I always do. All right. Tonight, when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again tomorrow. One more day of court watching and hopping until our new trial begins on Friday. Super excited for that. Thank you all. Appreciate all being here. We will see you tomorrow. Be good to each other. Bye-bye.
I was kick back, taking it easy.
The zombie apocalypse may be upon us.
Scratch all that. Oh, that was terrible. I apologize.